All right, we are here. I'm here. Yes, we are live. Also, I've been getting a lot of comments saying that I talk too much, so I'm gonna shut up and just get right into it. So yeah, do what's on screen. Forgot my buttons. Yeah, do what's on screen. There we go. Perfect. And yeah, we're just gonna we're gonna talk about Tim. I'm gonna talk. No, this is the beginning. I am allowed to say whatever I want in the beginning. If you don't like that, then I mean, I'll just edit it out later, but whatever. Anyways, we're gonna be watching Tim Pool. Tim. He had a usually he would put the name in the title, but I guess not this time for some reason. I guess we'll get into that soon. But I like Tim. Tim's pretty cool. He's pretty chill. He's awesome. I like watching his stuff, and I've watched him enough to understand when Tim is kind of BSing and when he's just being fair. So yeah, I think this time Tim got a little aggravated, a little hurt, a little butthurt, and kind of turned this entire show into like a massive man, I wonder what Destiny's gonna make. Destiny's definitely gonna make a video on this, because this is some wild stuff that happened in this video, this live stream. But yeah, we're gonna watch it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. And we only got 1080p, but we're gonna go to 1.25 speed. So yeah, we're gonna watch this. It's gonna be fun. Of course. Why not? All right, I'm just gonna...
Senator. So 4 more Democrats are flying down to El Salvador, and it's not good news. Already, Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen is backing away from his support of Abrego Garcia, saying, no, he's not vouching for the guy. He's just concerned about due process. Despite the fact that previously the dude almost referred to the guy as an American. That's how insane they've been getting. This story is eating Democrats up because most Americans don't want illegal immigrants here, and they want them deported. Now, you can take a look at CNN. You can take a look at Echelon Insights. But we got a poll from Pew. 83% of Americans...
It's funny how, like, he's doing all the news stuff, but, like, he barely touches news in this entire system. This entire time. But, like, this is wild.
Deportations. Not all, but at least to a degree, right? So you'd argue, when you're talking about who you want deported, how about wife-beating MS-13 gang member? Is that on your list? Probably most Americans are okay with this person being deported. So now we're seeing the Democrats try to shift away, and the media trying to pick up another story. Pete Hegseth. He may be getting fired, they claim, in rumors based on one anonymous person, even though Trump said he's not going to fire the guy. And they're claiming that there's another Signalgate happening with no evidence. They are so desperate to get off this story, it seems.
The Signalgate. That's where... The Signalgate is the thing that's going to be the most important thing for this entire video, I guess. Stream.
Trying to go back to an old one. So we're going to talk about that, plus a bunch of other stories from the day. Trump says he's going to start collections on student loans again. Sorry, if you didn't get that forgiveness, he's saying no to Biden's plan. Before we get started, my friends, we have an awesome...
I mean, at least Trump is like saying, yeah, bro, you're just not going to get it, and we're going to start collections now. Instead of Biden being like, yeah, we're going to forgive you, and then actually, turns out we can't really forgive you, but then I guess we could try and forgive you, and... Now people don't even know if they're going to get forgiveness or not. And now Trump is like, yeah, you're not getting it. So don't even bother like thinking about this anymore. At least we don't have any confusion this time. So whatever, I guess.
Some sponsor. Yo, it's Bearskin. Check it out. Guys, you want to go to B-A-E-R. It's B-A-E-R. Bearskin60.com. You'll get 60% off.
I might actually get this.
I'm sorry,
maybe. Depends on how much it costs. We're going to skip through that.
Now, burned. The Appalachian Nights, Rise with Roberto Jr., and don't forget the delicious Misty Mountains. Big news.
I'm going to get his coffee one day, because those bags, like, it would look so nice right next to my my Daily Wire stuff, my Trump stuff, and my Crowder stuff. Just get some Tim Pool merch, put it right back there. Be great, be fun. It's cool.
We've got the Appalachian Nights, Rise with Roberto Jr., and don't forget the delicious Misty Mountains. Big news. It looks like for the Culture War Live events, we've got our lineup set. Will Chamberlain versus Pisco Liddy debating the Abrego Garcia.
Ooh, Pisco. Damn. I keep talking and I keep pausing, but I'm fast. So we're getting right back into it.
With actual legal documents. And this Culture War Live will be May 3rd. It's about 2 weeks from now. And y'all will be able to join us on the debate stage. I believe we may have 1 or 2 tickets left, probably sold out. But if you are a member of the timcast.com Discord, you can actually submit your view of the debate issue, and we will invite you on stage to join the debate. Think Kill Tony meets Jubilee. That's the plan. So we're really excited to announce that. Don't forget to smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Tara Palmieri.
Hey, Tim.
All right, Tara Palmieri. Let me see that. Let me find this out. Tara Palmieri. Timcast. Tara Palmieri. Am I saying that wrong? Let me see it. Let me do this again. Because they didn't put the name in the title, which is they usually do that. Oh, there we go. She's just buried. All right. Oh, because I want to look this person up.
Basra76. Want to hit Kicks verification fast?
No, I don't. Thank you for the chat, though, but no thank you. Ha! Cut you off. Anyways, all right, so American journalist. Now, this is why we got this thing over here. We got input text manually. Boom. Hit enter. Well, no, not hit enter. Just hit play.
Tara Palmieri is an American journalist and independent content creator on YouTube and Substack, where she writes the Red Letter. She was previously the senior political correspondent for subscription news platform Puck.
Okay, interesting. All right, so this is her. Let's get back to the video.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, who are you?
It's great to be here in West Virginia. I kept thinking of that like John Denver song, which I love. Who am I? I am a journalist that has gone independent. I've worked for...
Oh my God, Tim, you've been doing this for years. How do you still have XLR cables like running over these? Bro, it doesn't... You know, they've been doing this for so long. They got so many microphones, but they still have XLR cables running through over what do you call it? I don't even have like a charger. You know the charger things you plug into the wall? Yeah, that's what that hissing is coming from. They run it. It's running over a DC AC converter. Basically, that's what you call a charger brick. It's an AC DC converter, basically, because everything coming from the wall is AC. Because it's much more efficient to transmit AC over long distances. But every electrical component that you have, every single one, runs on DC. And that's why with phones, you don't need an AC DC converter, because batteries are, when they discharge DC current. Yeah. But yeah, whatever. Sidetracked.
15 years, everywhere from the
But that's where that hissing is coming from, and it's kind of annoying. Come on, Tim. You've been doing this for years. I'm burning my beanie boy. I mean, he's the reason why I wear all these hats, because like he wears the hats, I'm wearing my own hats. So you know what?
Examiner and the New York Post to ABC News, where I was White House correspondent. I've been in new media at Puck. I spent a year and a half just investigating the Jeffrey Epstein crime and doing podcasts on that. I just had a podcast, political one, on the Ringer Network with Bill Simmons. So I've just decided I am going to try to follow your footsteps and try to create a media empire. I'm a little minnow next to you, but thanks for having me.
Tell your boss says that you quit.
I already did it. You know what? Like you, just say I quit. I'm doing it on my own. I think you have to bet on.
Bro, this started off with her being in such agreement with him and using him as kind of like almost like a role model. Kind of like, actually, no, basically like a role model. But like, how does this spiral out of control like that? Bro, let's just keep going.
On yourself in life. And
let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very cool.
So thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
thanks
really
for joining.
appreciate it.
It's going to be fun. Elada's here.
Hey, everybody. Good evening.
She was so respectful in the beginning. She did not deserve what's coming towards her for the next 2 hours. She was so respectful in the beginning. Come on now. I mean, I keep pausing, but let's keep going.
Yahoo Timcast, White House correspondent. Tara, I'm really excited to hear from somebody with so much experience in the journalism space, both establishment and now in the new media space. And it's just funny seeing the old media people saying they look up to Tim now. Crazy how things work.
But is this confirmed, the press pool for tomorrow?
It is confirmed.
You're on it? We can announce that?
I'll be in the pool with Donald Trump, and I believe you'll be in the new media seat tomorrow.
If there is one, right?
If there is
Are we supposed to say that?
a briefing. If there is one.
I don't know that we're supposed to say that, are we?
Well, we don't know. Well, how's it going over there?
Breaking news.
We're live. I don't know if we're supposed to say that as he's saying it live. Okay, good one, Tim. Good one.
Take the suit back a lot. I am Shane Cashman, host of Inverted World Live. We go live on YouTube and Rumble every Sunday at 6 o'clock. What is up, Phil?
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here we go from Mediaites. Democrat Senator tell.
That's probably the most Phil is going to say throughout this entire video for the 2 hours, because it becomes a back and forth between Tim and her. And all right, I keep spoiling, but you know what? Let's keep going.
Not vouching for the man in a Brett Garcia case and will support a court deporting him. Now, this is a huge turnaround from a guy who nearly called him an American and stopped himself and then called him a resident. And with the media screaming to the high heavens, Maryland father, for a Democrat senator who was leading the charge to come out and be like, I'm not vouching for the guy and I'm okay with him being deported now. Wow, talk about a heavy 180. Now the issue for Democratic Senator Van Hollen is simply the issue of due process, not the MS-13 gang member accused of mercilessly beating his wife on more than one occasion. I think it's fair to say that they walked face first into this one. And here's the best part. 4 more Democrats are going down there. This is not, I don't know what they're thinking with this. We are going to be having a debate in the culture war going over all the legal documents, which I believe shows he's gotten his due process. But the American people, of all of the things Trump has done, immigration is his most popular issue. Why are they setting themselves up like this?
To make me laugh, because I needed a good chuckle.
The Democrats are sitting back and they're like, what can we do that'll make Phil laugh today?
Absolutely. I mean, it's hilarious. They're falling over themselves, siding with the worst people that are here. Their whole story is irredeemable. Like, he's here illegally. He's probably a member, or he's alleged to be a member of a gang, but it's been multiple courts that have said it, I believe. And I don't remember what the other person or the other organization that made allegations that he's in a gang, but they're reputable organizations. There's his ex-girlfriend has filed charges, or at least made claims of abuse.
Ex-girlfriend did?
I don't remember if it was
his wife.
His wife.
Okay, my bad. All right. So
his wife.
But this only goes to my point.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny how Democrats completely just they jump ship on the MS-13 guy. Oh, the Maryland man. Oh, the Maryland man. Oh, we deported a Maryland man. And he's only been in the country for how long? Couple of years. Guy lived in El Salvador, and then they deported this Maryland man back to El Salvador. And then they go to El Salvador and realize that the guy is not even being treated poorly at all. And they're defending an MS-13 guy. Bro, this is wild. The Democrats were like, oh, Trump bad is so bad that he deported a Maryland man. Then they slurped up their entire propaganda. And then when they actually go down there to see this person, they're like, oh, this guy is legitimately an MS-13 guy. Well, I mean, we don't need to have to bro, it's just wild how they were harping on that nonsense. Oh, due process. It's just hilarious. And then, yeah, they literally did get burned. They did get burned. Call them out.
he is totally
You're
not
describing
sympathetic
the
at all.
Democrats' favorite voter.
Yeah, right. Wait, Shane. Do you want to read the first sentence of that paragraph right
Let me
there?
get my old man glasses.
Old man glasses. Just starting
Sentence up
with
here?
at. Yeah.
At a master calendar hearing, the respondent, through counsel, admitted the factual allegations contained in the NTA and conceded removability as charged. Should I keep going?
Based on the respondent's admissions and concessions, the court found his removability to be established by clear and convincing evidence as required by INA 240C3. So this is the document from 2019, August 9th and September 27th, where they again confirmed he was to be removed. However, not to El Salvador, because a gang in Guatemala was threatening to kill him. This is the story. A Guatemalan gang was threatening his family, and they didn't feel that they could be protected in El Salvador. Now, the only question that needs to be asked based on this is, can he be deported somewhere else? The answer is yes, of course. And
yeah, well, but like there was a stay on that removal. So like they were going to remove him there, but then they realized that they couldn't. So the judge put a stay on that, an indefinite. It's supposed to be like temporary, but like it became indefinite because it's been years that he's been on that temporary stay. So like it's kind of wild for the judge to be like, hey, so like we were supposed to deport you and you went through due process, but we're gonna like delay it for an undisclosed amount of time. Like, come on now. It's supposed to be temporary, so like you will go eventually, maybe in 100 years. But hey, it's temporary, technically speaking. I feel like the judge might have done like a little technical thing with that, because like it's been years and he's still technically not done with that process, which is wild.
So then the error that the Trump administration made, they were supposed to have a USCIS interview with Abrego Garcia before sending him home. And they didn't. But under the Alien Enemies Act, he was allowed to do it. So, I feel like this horse, I would argue that we've beaten the dead horse on this story, but Democrats won't shut up about it. So let me just say we've ground the horse into glue at this point, because I don't know how many times we need to point out that this guy was found deportable, credibly an MS-13 gang member, now accused of beating his wife. And I guess I'll put it this way.
And we keep forgetting about the whole, that one little caveat where the same judge put a stay on it. Or maybe it was a different judge, but some judge put a stay on it. But like that judge, that's a bad judge. All the other judges that said that other things, that he said that he should be deported, obviously those judges were correct. And it wasn't the other ones that we don't like. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bad faith interpretation of what he's saying, but like it kind of feels like that. Like people that don't like, you gotta be able to at least acknowledge the fact that a judge did put a stay on there. You could say that that you don't like that they did that, but like at least mention it, because if you don't mention it, it just seems like you're just trying to keep certain details out of the open, because you probably don't think they're important, but they are important.
We could have opened the show with the Hegseth Signalgate story.
Oh, we'll get to that?
Yeah, but it's
oh, this is where the debate starts.
a story.
It's not.
The second Signalgate?
No.
The fake story.
The story about how the Department of Defense is a total mess. I mean, his former spokesperson is saying, on the record that, what exactly did he say?
All right, just so you guys have context. I'm not going to pause it so many times. I just want to give you some context. This person keeps confusing the first Signalgate with the second. They keep having a miscommunication with whether they're talking about the first Signalgate or the second Signalgate. So just keep that in mind. That's where the confusion comes in within the first part of this entire disagreement, I guess.
From hell inside of the Department of Defense. That's concerning. And this is a guy who worked for Trump in 2016 too. This is not just some like lefty spokesperson that he inherited from the civil service. This is a true MAGA believer who was like, oh, come on.
Who else worked for Trump in 2016?
And there are a number of other people have come out.
In his 2016 term, it's 2017.
Why would he have hired him to be his chief Pentagon spokesperson and lead the communications at the NSA if he didn't believe that this guy was legit?
Why were there 3 people leaking information to the press?
Listen, you got to take this
allegedly.
seriously.
Oh, come on. She asked a question first, and then Tim responds with another question. Come on, Tim. That's not good faith. You got to answer a question before you ask her a question. Like, you're the one who did this first. Tim, you started it. That's a bad faith response to a question. You're not supposed to ask a question. You're not supposed to answer a question with another question. Come on now.
In the article that was he a chief of staff or
he was the chief Pentagon spokesperson until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he wrote an op-ed in Politico where he actually denied those the 3 advisors that they ever leaked anything. So I want to add allegedly here because I do feel like lawsuits are coming. All of these guys were trying to
allegedly.
All of this is very much allegedly, and all this.
Tim really likes that word, allegedly. When it benefits his side, I guess. All right, good one, Tim. Good one.
This is also allegedly because
that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I like pointing it out because it's fun.
They allegedly leaked documents about attacking Iran to try to preempt and try to prevent the strike by leaking it out there early, and that could be a part of the problem at the Pentagon. But it is unusual for this guy to be resigning or probably fired and told to resign, and then have this happen. I don't think we'll see any shakeups there.
Well, what are your thoughts on the Abrego Garcia story then?
On this story, I mean, it is a hard one because we
gotta disconnect from the Signalgate stuff. Like, go back. Let's talk about this Garcia guy because this is the one that's burning the Democrats right now. We don't care about the new Signalgate stuff. It's just all allegedly. Yeah, not important. Come on now.
I do think that politically
that's a bad faith interpretation, but you know what? It kind of seems like that, and I know Destiny would make that argument. So whatever.
No. I think it's politically, you're right, that the immigration story is on Trump's side. I mean, he was elected to seal off the border, deportations. I think the due process is the part that the Democrats are arguing about. Like, they want to make sure that there is due process, and obviously the halting. This is the guy who was the hairdresser, right? The makeup artist.
No.
Okay.
It's the wife beating.
No, she's completely correct. It's the due process part. That's what Democrats are complaining about. Like, at least acknowledge the fact that that's the thing that they're being that their whole point was they're trying to focus on, and ignore the fact that there was like a lot of evidence that the guy was MS-13. They were trying to like cope and ignore that fact, but also talk about like due process. But like now they finally had to stop like and get back into reality and have to acknowledge that, yeah, he's probably an MS-13, so maybe we should like not keep focusing on that. But okay.
Beating MS-13 gang member.
Got it. All right, then I'm not fully up to date on this one. I was
the hairdresser's a fake story too.
Why is that one fake?
Because they're not asylum seekers. You don't travel from Venezuela through the entirety of.
Technically incorrect, Tim. They are, technically speaking, asylum seekers. Under the law that we have now, our asylum laws are really garbage, terrible actually, very bad. Anybody can come here. They're supposed to go to the other they're supposed to go to the other countries and ask for their asylum, and then if they get rejected there, they have to keep working their way up to the United States. And how is the US government going to verify that? I mean, we don't even have a system in place to verify that. So what we do is literally we just assume once they come into the country, if they say that they're an asylum, it doesn't matter whether they came from like all the way in Nigeria or like, that's what the court date is for. We figure that stuff out when they come here and say that, and then they just end up staying. Like, it's an abuse of the asylum system. Our asylum laws or our system that we use for the immigration stuff is busted. So like, technically speaking, they are asylees until they miss their court date, which is like in like what, 2 years when they come in. It's wild. The system is busted. The system is busted. So whenever Tim says, oh, they're not asylees, when he says that, he means, oh, they're just illegal because Tim already knows that they're just intentionally abusing our system, which Tim can assume that, but like, it's kind of a bad faith assumption. Why would you assume that they're just coming in here just to abuse our system? Like, couldn't you just think that they came here? Like, wouldn't some of them, or a good chunk of them, want to come here because they really want to be in the U.S. and there's some economic issues? But like, we need to fix our asylum system first before you can start saying, oh, they're not asylees, because technically speaking, under the law, they are until they miss their court date.
Central America, come to the United States and say, now I need asylum. You go to Mexico.
So Tim is wrong. Tim is just wrong.
This is the wife beating MS-13 gang member.
Got it. All right, then I'm not fully up to date on this one. I was
the hairdresser's a fake story too.
Why is that one fake?
Because they're not asylum seekers. You don't travel from Venezuela through the entirety of Central America, come to the United States and say, now I need asylum. You go to Mexico. You go to any other country. It's typically expected of any asylum seeker to go to the first safe country they get to. So for Venezuela...
That was supposed to be remain in Mexico under Trump.
Right. So this guy, he's like, Venezuela is dangerous for me. I better travel through all these other countries.
I have no doubt that he tried to get into the U.S. illegally and live here illegally. Of course. Yeah.
And then when he went through, it's an executive hearing. We call them judges. They said his tattoos are MS-13, and he got deported to El Salvador.
To that horrible
for MS-13 gang members.
Yeah, and they confirmed that he is an MS-13 member.
So he was found to be an MS-13 gang member in the standard procedure by his crown tattoos on his wrists, which the left is arguing are just crowns and they're not MS-13. And so I would just
say, want him to have due process, essentially, right?
What is the due process of an illegal immigrant?
I mean, I think that they have the right to immigration court, right?
And they did.
And he lost.
Yes, he is deportable and he had crowns.
He lost during the Biden years, right? Is that right?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, well, I think that'd be interesting to find out because I mean, you might say, oh, the Trump
2019. It was during the Trump. It was actually during. It was in 2019 where he was found as the when they said that he had to be deported, but then he had to stay. That all happened in the same year. Like right after they said, you kind of have to be deported because we have a lot of evidence saying that you're probably MS-13. So they were going to deport him, but then they had to stay on their deportation. Yeah, so I mentioned that multiple times already, but
Trump's administration has different criteria.
It's
Listen, I can't really debate.
It did happen underneath the Trump administration, but that was Trump's MO back then too. So it's not surprising.
This one in the same way because I thought it was the Maryland hairdresser that we were talking about, or makeup artist.
He wasn't in Maryland, was he?
Oh,
the California.
Oh, the makeup artist was in California.
I don't know.
But the point is, you're right.
There's so many illegals that have come over since Joe Biden took office and stuff. So there's probably a Maryland hairdresser that's here illegally. So you're probably close to
Maryland.
I think I'm conflating it.
Yeah,
I'm conflating it because yes, some Democrats are doing this, and I do question. I mean, I think there's just a fear that it's happening so quickly and so recklessly, and that people are not getting their due process in the process of it. Especially when they're saying we're going to deport homegrown.
They are getting a due process. Each and every one of them.
Then why would the judge halt the guy that was being deported to Venezuela?
Yeah, right. So
why you roll your eyes?
Okay, so here's a question for you.
He's still a judge.
Why has Trump?
Even if he's an activist.
An activist judge. But he's still a judge. What? She's correct here. She is technically correct. Just because you don't like the judge doesn't mean that the judge didn't rule, a legit judge didn't rule on this. They are still legit judges. If you don't like the judge, then I don't even know. What can a citizen do if they don't like a judge? You can't really vote them out. That's not how you deal with judges. I actually don't know. If you don't, I guess if you don't like the judge, you could just call them an activist judge and just discredit their ruling and then just be like, I don't like, and just form a negative opinion about the judge, and then just ignore whatever this specific judge says. I guess you could do that, but then you're just being petty then at that point. He's an activist judge. I don't like what he said. Okay, all right. That's not convincing anybody.
His judge, if you want to say that. He's still a judge.
But Phil gave you a reason. It's that they're political activists who are trying to obstruct Trump. There's your answer. Why has Trump received 40% of all universal, let me phrase, unconstitutional universal injunctions?
I think that
81 out of 200.
He was definitely pushing the boundaries of the Constitution. He tried to get rid of what was it? The
birthright citizenship.
Yeah, he tried to get rid of that. He's definitely
he didn't try. He is actively doing so now, and it's going to court.
But the point.
Okay, there you go. So he is challenging lots of constitutional stuff here. So, okay, the guy that's challenging a lot of constitutional stuff is getting a lot of these injunctions. It kind of makes sense, So yeah.
And the point of
birthright citizenship is falsely interpreted and does not exist.
He is pushing the limit.
Oh, okay. Yes. But that's true. Yes, that's true. Yes.
Limits of the Constitution every single day.
In what way?
With that alone.
But the Constitution says.
And also by defying a judge's order, whether you don't agree or not, you should have halted that plane and put the person down.
Wait, let me go back a little bit.
Birthright citizenship.
Yeah, he tried to get rid of that. He's definitely
he didn't try. He is actively doing so now, and it's going to court.
But the point of
birthright citizenship is falsely interpreted and does not exist.
He is pushing the limits of the Constitution every single day.
In what way?
With that alone.
But the Constitution says.
And also by defying a judge's order, whether you don't agree or not, you should have halted that plane and put the person down and then gone through.
The Supreme Court sided with him on that.
And the appeal.
The Supreme Court sided with him.
They allowed him to be deported.
The Supreme Court said no one can direct the executive branch to engage in foreign policy. And so the issue was should Abrego Garcia be returnable? They should facilitate his return. And the argument from the conservatives is, or from Trump, that if he were to try to come back to the U.S., Trump must facilitate that return. Otherwise, we have nothing to do with it.
But then there's just like these random guys, like these German tourists.
All right, I wanted to shut up and let them speak, but like, so there's so much that was said that I want to say, but then I'm like, it's just so far back now that I don't even want to say it anymore. Let's just keep going, I guess.
Didn't have a booking on, in Hawaii, and they are suddenly getting deported. I just think there's a feeling like, and then you're seeing students on the street just being like muzzled basically and deported because of their political activity on universities, and that's a little scary. I'm sorry.
Why though?
I mean, it is because
What do you mean? Why is it not a little scary? Like, bro, these people are tourists. Like, some people, they're gonna come here, they're gonna tour, but then they make a mistake on their hotel booking, and they end up booking for like a day later instead of like the day that they came. Like, bro, like, and then they get deported because they made that mistake. Yeah, it's a little scary. Come on now. That is so easily understandable. Like, you're there on vacation, you made an error on booking, and then now the government's like, bro, you gotta get out. You gotta leave right now. You can't stay. Like, that is a little scary. Come on. That's Tim, why are you not like understanding this? You can at least concede to that. Come on, give a little bit. Tim, give a little bit.
Because of their political activity on universities, and that's a little scary. I'm sorry.
Why though?
I mean, it is because, okay, first of all, you're a free speech guy. You are out there, have a booking on, in Hawaii, and they're suddenly getting deported. I just think there's a feeling like, and then you're seeing students on the street just being like muzzled basically and deported because of their political activity on universities, and that's a little scary. I'm sorry.
Why though?
I mean, it is because, okay, first of all, you're a free speech guy. You were out there, Occupy Wall Street. What if you were like misidentified and deported and you were an American the entire time? And
Have any Americans been deported?
It could happen.
Sure, and if it does, it'll be a problem. But for the time being, all the enforcement's been under the law.
But even if you're
INA
not
or
an
AA.
American and don't you think?
That's true. It's a little scary that things are going a little fast. So like, it's a little risky, and like, she sees it, but so far we haven't deported any U.S. technically U.S. citizens yet. We've only deported people that have been that were like asylees or during the process. Like, no actual citizen that got their citizenship has been accidentally deported, and we've been deporting a lot of people. So like, if a mistake was going to be made, it was made, but only on the technically asylee, technically not asylee, like debacle there. So like, that's the only problems we've had. The only problems we've had was the technically the asylees, I guess, or the people that are in the middle of the process of becoming a citizen, not the people that were legit citizens. We haven't had that issue yet, and I don't think that issue is going to come up. And everyone keeps pointing out all these little things where like some people, they got deported even though they technically were an asylee or they had a green card, but like, no legit person with an actual citizenship was deported. Even though Trump administration is like hitting this at a very like hitting first and asking questions later. Like, it feels very risky what they're doing, but they actually haven't had that specific mistake made yet. That could happen in the future. I don't think it will, but it could, and I understand why she feels that way. But yeah, let's keep going.
Think that like part of the rights of being in this country are free speech?
Not if you're illegal.
I think it's scary that non-Americans are in our country calling for violence on campuses, and the campuses aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the universities for sure. They should be dealing with that.
So in the case of Mahmoud Khalil, this is a guy who was organizing whether it was intentional or otherwise, violent protests where employees were attacked and threatened, buildings were taken over, Jewish students were attacked on campus. And even people presumed to be Jewish.
Did he direct people to attack Jewish people?
Doesn't matter. He organized the event. So if you organize a parade, if you organize a dance party, but then your dance party robs a bank, you're getting in trouble for it.
Tim is correct on that
You're not
one.
going to be charged with robbing the bank. They're going to say like, whatever you were involved with.
Yeah, you're kind of a conspirator.
They're going to RICO you and you're going to jail.
I think it's
And she agrees. Come on. There's so much agreement with this person, but when she gives like a legit opinion on like how it kind of feels kind of scary, we're like, oh no, that's impossible. We can't think that way. Bro, she's giving so much. Rich
how the Democrats.
And she's fast. She's very fast. She is like I want to say she is like probably one of the smartest, like, or the most what do you call it? Like, she's I don't want to say she's a strong woman or whatever, but it's kind
Annoying
of like
theorist 6R7 Eixt. Cheap viewers on streamba.com.
yeah, good job. No, thank you. But thanks for the chat though. But anyways, after I've been rudely interrupted by annoying the whatever this guy is, losing my train of thought. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Let's keep going.
I've just been speed running through these different causes. First it was
oh yeah, I was just glazing her a little bit, but whatever.
Khalil, and then they means tested it quickly and realized, oh wait, this guy isn't good for us. Then they moved on to this most recent gang member that they said wasn't. And have you seen his tattoos on his knuckles where they're trying to say like, oh, he is not. This isn't supposed to be a simple.
I mean,
form.
This is standard operating procedure.
It always happens on both sides of the aisle. They pick their like political person that they get behind.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But we only like it when the Republicans do it. That's essentially what Tim is going to say.
And if it's either like Laken Riley, now it's Mahout Khalil.
Laken Riley was murdered.
No, I know, but this is cynical political shit that they do. It's on both sides.
I have a problem with the both sides argument.
What do you mean? Like, why is it cynical?
It's cynical because this is what they're doing. Like, they are taking one person's example and they're blowing it up.
But he's a legit criminal, and we have 20 million or so illegal immigrants.
Wait. I'm going to agree with you 100%. Agreed. The conservatives prop up a young woman who was murdered by an illegal immigrant criminal gang member, and the Democrats prop up the criminal illegal immigrant gang member. I know which side I'm on.
True. I mean, hey. It seems a little bit hypocritical, but like, bro, like it's true. Like what? I mean, they're kind of the same thing, but like, which one are you gonna pick? The people that are propping up the criminal, or the people that propping up the person that died from that criminal, or from that group? I guess that specific category of died from that specific category of criminal, not from that specific one. That person, not from that person, but the category that person is in, because the other person that was in the same category ended up deleting Laken Riley. And I don't want to misspeak and say that person that we're talking about before, that they were talking about before. I mean, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I'm not saying him specifically, the category.
Listen.
Cynical or otherwise, you're right. The Republicans are like, this poor woman was murdered by these evil, criminal gang members, and the Democrats are like, please don't hurt our criminal illegal gang members.
I can't.
That's a simplification, but whatever. I mean, I'll just let Tim say it. He can get away with that one.
I can't really argue on this topic, to be completely fair with the topics. I haven't.
Okay, so
I'm not going to argue in favor of these people because I don't even know their full history.
Take the individual specific people out of it, right? You look at the people that the Democrats champion and what tends to happen after all of the information comes out.
Yeah.
Right. The guy that they were championing that ended up getting what's the town? Kenosha burnt down. The man was trying to kidnap kids. Mm-hmm. He had a knife. The police shot him, and then Kamala Harris goes and takes
a woman.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's trying to kidnap kids. He assaulted him. He had a cop. It was a quote-unquote good shoot. And Kamala Harris goes and takes pictures with him, right?
And George NFL players put his name on their helmet.
Yeah, George Floyd had committed a crime, right? And he died in police custody.
That was like a nothing.
He was chewing a speedball behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yes.
And when the police removed him, they brought him to the vehicle to be arrested. You could watch all the body camera footage. It's all in the video. And he fought them.
Yeah.
And he said, put me on the ground, put me on the ground, put me on the ground. So they pulled him out of the vehicle and put him on the ground.
Did they have to kill him on the ground?
So let me finish. A few minutes later, Derek Chauvin shows up having no idea what's going on and performed what the Minnesota police trained him to do, because even the defense showed this in the continuum of force argument in the criminal trial for Chauvin. He was told to do that. So he shows up, there's a guy on the ground, he has no idea what's happening. They say, do the restraint. He says, okay. They put so you know how it's bunk? The cop who is simply standing in front of people with his hands up, not involved in the Chauvin incident at all, just off to the side, they put him in prison for life. Why?
And then the Ahmed...
They didn't care what was true.
The George Floyd stuff is wild. So like, I watched the full 20-minute video, 20-minute or less video, and what Tim is saying is true. That guy came in later, the guy that was doing the whole kneeling on the neck, like the last 9 minutes that people see and not see like the first 11 to 12 minutes. They like this is just like I don't have any sympathy for the George Floyd thing, but I also have zero sympathy for the officer as well, because when someone was doing a specific documentary on the whole thing, the family of the Derek Chauvins decided not to talk at all. Like, they didn't want to say anything because the cop felt guilty. So you know what? Cop felt like he did something wrong. He needs to do the time, and I'm not gonna defend that. So like, whatever. Like the people that were doing that specific documentary, the documentary I'm talking about was from Candace Owens. So like, I guess you can delete me in the comments or write me up. Oh, you listen to Candace Owens. Yeah, she's correct on certain things, and then she's dead wrong on other things. Like it's the same. Like I mean, people are just gonna automatically assume people that, with like they hear a specific word and then they automatically just write you off because they hear one word that they just don't like. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Those type of people don't need to exist on my channel. They're too stupid to like actually like understand when I'm talking about a specific point that someone's making. But then when I say they generalize or they write me off because of the names. They don't like the name that I said, basically, instead of actually listening to the point or for the argument. But like whatever. I'm just trying to guess what people are gonna say and then tackle that point right now. But like, someone can make another argument. But I went down a rabbit hole, and now I'm just gonna stop right there. Just go back to the video. But yeah, what was I saying? Maybe I finished my point.
So you know how it's bunk? The cop who was simply standing in front of people with his hands up.
Yeah, the George Floyd thing. So like, yeah, I mean, I essentially just said what I wanted to say.
Involved in the Chauvin incident at all, just off to the side. They put him in prison for life. Why?
And then the Ahmed...
They didn't care what was true. They just wanted to lock them all up.
And the Ahmed Arbery case, that guy, Ahmed Arbery...
All right, I'm just going to say it right now. I think they have the Ahmed Arbery stuff a little bit wrong. And, all right, well, here's another thing you can write me off because I'm going to use another name that people are going to get triggered by. Destiny. Destiny. I listened to some of Destiny's stuff, and he kind of changed my mind on the whole Ahmed Arbery thing. It's a little bit less... I agree with the sentencing, but I understand Destiny's point of view, and there's certain little factoids that the Timcast crew get wrong with the Ahmed Arbery thing, but there is the point of them. I think the Timcast crew gets the intent right, but some of the fact things wrong, but for the Ahmed Arbery thing specifically. But whatever. I don't need to dig into this.
He committed burglary. The guys that shot him, they were going to... It was a bad law, an old law that they were
What do you guys want me to say? The Democrats pick bad, cynical political characters to
That's the point.
But the right is trying to maintain, sustain safety and order right now, and the left promotes violence and chaos.
The question is, like, when do they overstep the boundaries?
Well, right now, going back to what a lot of saying with speedrunning these different people is like what we were talking about before the show. The Democrats are desperate
disarray.
To find.
Let me add this.
And things are just...
Yo, Surge, the guy that Surge, the dude that's here. Let me see. Can I find this guy? Surge. We're gonna look this guy up right now. Yeah, this dude. He's the no, not this guy. This guy, the Surge dude. He's the producer, and he's flipping through those screens so freaking fast. He is doing such a good job in this episode. Like, he's flipping. He's just clicking all those buttons, getting all those angles. He's doing a really good job.
Just happening so fast and furiously, and that's why I think there's a lot of concern.
And
the way it's happening, it's like kind of...
But we voted for mass deportations, at least
indeed.
I did.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Yes, that is true. That's the concern. It's going kind of quick, and it's kind of concerning. Yes, that's true. At least give that to her. But do they give that to her? And this is the thing that's going to bother me throughout this entire thing, and why I'm kind of going a little harsh on Tim. It's gaslighty. This is a gaslighty thing to do. She's been conceding a lot, and you guys don't concede anything for what she says. And it makes her, in her mind, it's like, it's very gaslighty. It is very gaslighty. I don't like that. I really don't like that.
I pointed out that we often...
Without due
for the past
due process, we just talked about with the illegals.
I got the court document right here for Abrego Garcia that says he admitted to removability. So the question is, was he warranted a USCIS interview before final deportation? The answer is yes, but their argument is, at first we made an error in doing so without checking for this. However, under the Alien Enemies Act, we are allowed to get rid of him regardless. So, but the point I was going to make a moment ago, when we're setting up the show, I was pointing out that we often try to find a prominent individual that represents a core of the story or the parties involved. There are no Democrats. This is what it took us. We were at it was.
So like, yes, the guy did get due process, but she doesn't like the fact that the due process was so, like, she doesn't like the specific due process that they did, because they did the process. The guy was exempted. She doesn't like the fact that the guy was exempted. So it seems like the guy didn't actually have the right due process, but the thing changed. So he had his due process. It's just not the way that she would want it to be. So technically that's a correct thing to say, Tim.
7:52, we finally got the thumbnail up because I was like, I guess Trump's the only political character who's involved in the news. There's Van Hollen, but he's backing away. There's no Schumer anymore. There's no AOC anymore. There's no Kamala. There's no Biden. There is no central Democrat Party.
And arguably those members that you saw in that picture, even though I'm not fully aware of the story, like they are more from the progressive.
I mean, but that's a point. I'm pausing it a lot now, but like that's a point towards like why the Democrats, like why people shouldn't be in the why people shouldn't bother with Democrats. They only come to you during election time, not now. Like we're only. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, Tim, the reason why they're not doing, like, the way that Tim is saying it, he says it like he doesn't really know the answer to this. Like, the reason why they're not doing this is because it's not an election year. It's not an election year. Election year is like 2 years from now, for the midterms. But, like, they just don't care. And, like, if they really cared, there would be a Democratic leader right now, like, talking back and doing all this stuff and consistently being in the spotlight and trying to, like, be on par with Trump, but like they just don't care. So like, yeah, it makes sense. Like they don't care until they need your vote. So like they're not gonna bother like talking or saying anything or even like discussing anything or pointing out stuff, but only just do like their little moral grandstanding stunts here and there, and then kind of just collect the checks and stuff like that, and that's it, and move on. Like they don't really care until they need your vote, and they don't need your vote until voting election. So like, yeah, there's a reason why there's no Democrat to be seen right now, because there's no votes being had. There's no votes being needed right now. And so like that's one point against, like, you probably shouldn't like that's a point against Democrats. They really should like show that they care a little bit more. At least like I could tell that Trump cares, because like he's on the spotlight like all the time, regardless if it's good or bad. Like if he only cared about himself, he wouldn't want to be in the spotlight where he's like negatively being portrayed all the time. Like it's just pure negativity. Like if it was only purely like a selfish thing that Trump was trying to do and he doesn't care about anything else, like he wouldn't, like, bro, the guy almost got deleted and decided to keep running anyways. But like he's a multi-billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire. He does not need to do this. This guy, like, he literally could just concede and be like, yeah, you know what? I don't have to do this anymore. I'm on my final steps. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life with the money that I have. Like, I don't think he can physically blow the amount of money that he has on anything for how long he's going to be living right now. Like, he's in his 80s, I think, right? Or going to be in his 80s. He's very old. So the amount of money, like, there's no reason for him to be running again. There's no reason for him to have all this extra stress, to be another target for the next 4 years. Like, come on now. Like, what's the point? He was already president once, so like he's on the books. Like, you really think he's? Because like Destiny would make this argument. Oh, well, actually no. Destiny, he would used to make this argument, but now he's actually making the argument where he doesn't even know why Trump is doing this, but he still hates him anyways. And I'm like, oh, okay, good one, Destiny. Very convincing.
They're not really from the party.
There's no leadership.
They don't want to back these. They don't want to get involved in this fight because, like you said, they don't know the full
but
story.
even I think Cory Booker was even virtue signaling, at least saying that like these deportations were wrong, and specifically on the gang members too. I think I'm not a usual believer of Trump's 5D chess, but it almost feels like he is baiting Democrats into defending these otherwise.
Checkers.
I mean,
yeah,
because and then it always comes out like, oh, they defended this guy. They said there was no way he was a gangster.
Let me ask you a
His wife covered up his knuckles.
It's 5D chess, but Trump doesn't even know that he's playing 5D chess. Trump is playing normal chess, but he's actually subconsciously playing 5D chess, or because the Democrats keep on falling for this nonsense. Like, it's consistent. Like, Trump will say something, and he's only playing checkers, but like everyone else that looks into this, it looks like he's playing 5D chess, because these dominoes keep falling over in the same exact pattern way. Like, how do Democrats consistently keep falling for this stuff? Like, if they weren't consistently keep falling for this stuff, then he's obviously playing something. He's not intentionally playing 5D chess, but he's unintentionally playing 5D chess because that's how it looks like to any other person. So, like, yeah, you could say, oh, he's not playing 5D chess, which is technically correct, but because, like, if he's intentionally trying to do 5D chess, it means that he's smarter than he actually is. When he isn't that smart, but I think the fact that he isn't that smart or intelligent is the thing that really messes with the intellectuals, because they don't know, they can't predict his what he's gonna do, because he's not doing things for any specific purpose. So there's no way for them to they can't predict his moves. So he's playing, I don't want to say 4D chess, because 4D chess is like one level above. He's playing 5D chess that even Democrats don't even know, because they don't even know, they can't understand him. But he's probably just like playing checkers, like as the lady said. But like, they still don't understand when they can't even figure out his next move. That's my essential point. Like, it's not that he's super smart and he's intentionally doing this. Trump is just an average person. Average I want to say average person. But when people are trying to like understand he's not like a normal average person. He's like a different type of average person. Yeah, I mean, let's just keep going.
In all of these pictures, because it was like obvious that he had MS-13 written on his knuckles, and the Democrats couldn't do their research to find that out, like, before deciding to defend him.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that Van Hollen and these other 4 Democrats that are going down to El Salvador are doing so with the intent to influence the foreign government of El Salvador into taking action on their behalf?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
no,
because I think the president of El Salvador is so, you know.
So what do you think the Democrats want if they're not trying to?
They're trying to draw attention to it. But here's the thing.
So
like you said,
have they stated anything about wanting the government to take action?
Yeah, of course they have.
So wait, so the Democrats have publicly stated they want El Salvador.
I mean, I haven't read it. Like, you're asking me to talk about a story I really don't know that much about. I'm just speaking in generalizations. Sure. But I know.
So let's hammer out the quick details. This is not a gotcha. It's literally the Democrats. There's now 5.
Yeah, sure. It's not a gotcha. Okay. All right, Tim.
They made requests of the El Salvador government to do something.
I don't know.
Anybody?
I don't know. I haven't read the
I just think they're going down for a photo shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking.
What was the express stated purpose?
To draw attention to it.
They've actually said what their intention was.
I don't know, but I'm just saying from like a
Does anybody want to get it? Because I know everybody who's listening right now in the audience knows exactly what the Democrats said about this trip.
I think Van Hollen said that he wanted to have him back. The Democrats wanted him to come back to the country.
All of them said that.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
All of them said that their purpose to go down was to get him back.
Yep.
To get the...
Even if the Democrats, if that's just rhetoric, and like they may say all this stuff, but then if you want to give like the ultra good faith interpretation, be like, well, they did say that, and you could just argue, well, it's just rhetoric, just like how Trump has a lot of rhetoric and says a lot of weird stuff, but then we kind of have to like read in between the lines sometimes. We should probably read in between the lines when the Democrats say like they want to go get him. Like they're exaggerating what they really want, just like how Trump exaggerates some of the things that he says too. So like, come on now, you gotta treat them fair. Just because you like just because you like one party over the other doesn't mean that one person should get a pass more than the other. It just shows that you're kind of a hypocrite. So yeah, yeah.
Foreign government to take an action pertaining to U.S. foreign policy, which is a violation of the Logan Act, which specifically states any U.S. citizen, wherever he may be, who without the authority of the U.S. directly or indirectly commences or carries on correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any officer or any agent thereof.
Did you say intercourse? Wait. Oh, wait, he did. Correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or officer. Oh, wait. Hold up. Let him read that one more time, because I'm confused.
Which specifically states,
because like it means that would be a conflict of interest. I thought he said that by mistake.
Any U.S. citizen, wherever he may be, who without the authority of the U.S. directly or indirectly commences or carries on correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any officer or any agent thereof with the intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or of any officer or agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversies with the U.S. or to defeat the measures of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years. Donald Trump explicitly set forth a deal with El Salvador's government pertaining to U.S. foreign policy under the Alien Enemies Act. That is the direction and purview of the executive branch, their entitlement, their right under the Constitution. These members of Congress are in direct and overt violation of the Logan Act. I believe that
I mean, but the Logan Act is so overly encompassing, man. Like, citizens that have nothing to do with the government are probably talking to their officials in other governments right now as we speak, and probably unintentionally like doing some sort of foreign policy interference right now with those people that they know, because maybe it's a family member or something, but they're a legit citizen, but they're on vacation. They're just talking about politics. Like, it's very overly encompassing. Like, the only way that would come out is if they decide to like tell the U.S. government that they said this to a specific officer. So like, it's probably unintentional, but that Logan Act is very overly encompassing. Like, so you could, if you find that audio from that person that did that on the vacation, because they ended up saying that to like a relative that's in the government of that other country, like the Logan Act would be broken there too, and they could technically find that person as well. So like, he could say like, oh yeah, the Democrats are definitely doing that 100%. And I'm like, it's very like a lot of people, not just like, this is overly inclusive. I said overly encompassing like 3,000 times, but it's overly inclusive. That's the word. And it's like, obviously that's going to make, it makes sense. It just makes sense.
We need to see some action by the DOJ.
Yeah.
They're trying to do a reverse Elian Gonzalez.
Lock them up.
Yeah.
Lock them up.
Okay, here's the thing. So these 4 Democrats of members of Congress, some of them young, freshman-ish progressives, they go down there and they stage their political, photo op, whatever you want to call it. The rest of the party, you have like someone like Gavin Newsom saying this is a distraction, and they kind of know they're being baited. Trump sets the story up every morning. He did this for the press. When I covered him for the first 4 years of his administration, he sent out a tweet and he would literally say to his staff, watch the libs. I'm going to own the libs today. I'm going to overreact. So they're starting to think to themselves, maybe we are missing the boat by overreacting. This is a distraction. We cannot jump onto every single thing that he gives to them.
They are getting eaten alive.
You know what sucks about that? You know what sucks about that for the Democrats? If you ignore some of the things that he does. So if someone says, if they can't jump on every single thing that he says, and the Democrats interpret everything that Trump says is bad, this is not my opinion, that's just their opinion. If they interpret that every single thing that Trump does is kind of bad, but they're saying we can't jump on every little thing, the Democrats are basically conceding that, yeah, like some of the little things that he does, we should probably just ignore it. Doesn't matter anymore. And that's literally the Democrats losing the game. Democrats losing the game, which kind of sucks for them. We're only 25 minutes in. How long have we been on? Almost an hour. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. It's just, wow.
This because even
I'm gonna have a fun time editing this. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Cory Booker is one of these far left progressives.
Yes.
I think he's
kind of, yeah. He's
no. As far as Democrats go,
yes.
I think as far as Democrats go, Cory Booker's a moderate.
Did you hear he came out recently?
As
Like,
I mean,
closet?
everybody thought he was gay, but
Rosario was set up like that was a beard.
well, everybody thought Cory Booker was gay, but apparently he was at like an event where he was asked by some gay people, like a trans person, and he said something about we, the LGBT community.
Oh yeah,
It was something like that, and then it was glossed over. Like nobody really paid attention that he was saying that he was LGBTQ.
right. Just like Barack Obama.
I think
Sure about that one? Because I remember seeing that clip online. I don't think that he was coming out.
My point is, he said we in the LGBT community. I'm paraphrasing.
Ally. Oh, there's a letter in there. A for allies. So he
No,
may have been.
there's no A in ally for
I think
LGBTQ.
there is LGBT.
Yeah, actually. LGBT letters. It is asexual. Asexual. What's the plus? Give me the plus. I want to know what the plus is. 2 stands for two split? What is two split? And the plus acknowledges that there are many other sexualities and genders identities that are not included in the acronym. So what does the plus? There's more, right? Q, T, man, I want to know what the plus, what's the plus? Because ally is there is, okay. Is there allies in LGBTQ? No, there's no because considered. Oh, okay, all right. I mean, but this is a Reddit guy. What does it mean to be LGBT ally? Allies are important, welcome supporters, as they have one of the most powerful. Blah blah blah. Plus Oh, okay. So it's not even in the acronym. So like, being an LGBTQ plus, and then they add the word ally in the front of it to make it like legit. So like, it's not even in the plus. It's just plus. So everything else, and then ally. Okay, all right. They might have recently like added the ally thing, but like, it's not technically in the LGBTQ plus because they have to keep putting ally at the end of it instead of adding another acronym within the plus. But okay, all right. I'll give that to Tim. I thought Tim was doing some, well, technically speaking, but like, I mean, he is kind of doing that because ally is in the thing, but like, it's not technically in the acronym.
LGBTQ, it's like there's some ally.
Asexual.
You guys are killing
Are you
me.
for real? Wait.
It is asexual. Yeah, that's true.
There's definitely an ally.
No, there's not.
Yes.
No, there's
Yes.
not.
There's something in there.
There's an ally, but at the end of it. So she's correct. They're both correct, but like, they're just talking past each other at this point.
Wait, but all of that is to say,
Semantics.
I think you're mischaracterizing the Democrat Party. I don't think it's just the far leftists in the party. I think Cory Booker is a moderate Democrat, and I think it's wide ranging throughout the party. And I think you might be missing the pulse of what's going on.
Let's get to the story. Let's get to this. Let's talk Hegseth.
Moderate, yeah.
We've got this story from NPR. The White House is looking to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. Okay, that's the story. Rapid Response says lies from NPR, which we all know is a fake news propaganda machine. So the story they've been pushing is that there's a second Signalgate. Leakers have been fired. And now you've got this op-ed from, this is Politico. Former top Pentagon spokesperson details a month from hell inside the agency. Now, there's a couple arguments here.
Yeah.
This is a fake news story. Hegseth is not going to get fired. Trump already spoke in his defense. But I'm not sure who was pointing out. I don't know if it was you, Shane, earlier about Matt Gaetz. Trump also pointed that out.
Yeah, Trump kept backing Matt Gaetz until he could no longer.
Indeed. So maybe there is an argument that Trump is just trying his hardest not to see Hegseth out. The other argument from the right is that the deep state is trying to heavily influence the removal of Hegseth.
That guy who wrote that op-ed is not the deep state. He is a guy that Hegseth hired. He's a political staffer. That guy, John Hewlett.
Yeah.
He is a political staffer. He was a senior communications advisor on Trump's 2016 campaign. And the other people, too, they are all politicals. They are not deep state.
So
does that mean he's good?
How does that mean? What does it mean they're not deep state?
Okay, then if he's such a good manager, why would you hire a guy like that?
That's a great question. Why did Trump hire Bolton?
Well, then why is Trump hiring Pete Hegseth? And it goes up the chain.
Yes, Trump hired a lot of bad people in his first term, and many people were concerned about the hires that were going to come in the second term.
Yeah.
He's done a pretty good job, but I'm not surprised to see that the firing margin is a bit lower than what we would have seen in 2016 had he learned his lesson.
So
Yeah.
I think what's actually going on here is that within the Trump administration, there are
She's laughing because it kind of sounds like a cope, but I kind of agree with Tim.
rumblings between the more isolationist and the more hawkish camps. And this is manifesting right now through the debate on whether or not we should strike Iran preemptively at their nuclear sites. So I think some of Hegseth's staffers allegedly leaked out the Iran plans early to the New York Times and other outlets in hopes of trying to like help prevent the plan. So like it's really those two sides knifing each other within the administration. And then there's also like the Democrat and left media that's taking advantage of these internal conflicts that are going on to try to kind of capitalize it, is how I see what's going on right now. So that doesn't mean the administration or the Department of Defense is in complete disarray or the Pentagon's in complete disarray. I think it's people trying to knife each other in the back more than anything and want to influence the way the administration goes. That doesn't mean Hegseth needs to be fired.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they are putting this out there themselves.
But do you understand the context behind...
To see how it goes, and then... Because maybe something big is coming.
Well,
and maybe there are text messages, again, like Signalgate, and everybody's...
Well, these were high-up staffers.
Let me give you the stupidest conspiracy out of all of it. If you don't want to go to war with Iran and the deep state's going to try and force your hand, just throw the Pentagon into disarray and they can't false flag you into one.
I like that.
And I did say that was the stupidest conspiracy theory, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, like, right now the concern from the right is that...
You say it's the stupidest conspiracy theory, but, like, it makes sense. Like, it legit makes sense. Like, yes, they could just claim that. But, like, it would be really bad to claim that because it would make the U.S. government look really, really bad. So no one's ever going to, like, do that.
We're going to get forced into a war with Iran. Mm-hmm. We saw the story that Israel was trying to go to the U.S. to join them in a strike. The U.S. backed off. Trump said no. Tulsi Gabbard said don't do it. Israel said we're going to maybe do it a little bit anyway. If there's some kind of attack or false flag or who knows what, if the Pentagon is broken, we're not getting involved in that war anyway. Right. So if you had a functional Pentagon, and again, I'm stressing this is a stupid conspiracy theory. It's probably not true at all. I'm just saying, if a false flag were to happen, we would be publicly pressured into a conflict we don't want to be involved in. However, with the Pentagon broken, the response is going to be like, unfortunately, due to the disarray with leadership, we can't formulate a proper response to what happened in the Middle East.
Can I just say what is probably really happening? This is like Veep, okay? Have you guys seen Veep?
Yep.
The show? It's a fucking disaster in government. No
You're
one
right.
knows what
I
they're
agree.
doing.
Always, yeah.
More likely than not, it is just a
much we
bunch
know.
of people who have no idea what they are doing.
This
And
is the one thing libertarians get right.
you know, do you ever remember that?
Crazy too, though.
Yeah, they are.
Do you remember that line? I don't know if you remember that line when she's like, something happens in Yemen. They're like, when life gives you Yemen, you make Yemenade. And it's like, you can't even make that shit up. But this is just like,
That's only one step away from the reset button, the misspelled reset button that Clinton took over.
So regarding Iran, the administration has repeatedly said that he cannot allow them to get nuclear weapons. So I think that's why a lot of this stuff is coming to a head now, as I think we're going to see this weekend as well. Negotiations continue. Whether we'll see them actually go anywhere has yet to be seen. I don't think the admin's also going to get rid of Hegseth, because once you get rid of one of these top guys in the administration, one of these secretaries, that means everybody's kind of on ice. It's kind of opening the floodgates for other people to be fired.
Now, hold on.
He wasted so much political capital on Hegseth
but
to just throw it away now.
what about a less stupid conspiracy theory that if Hegseth were to be fired, they would get an acting...
Tim loves his conspiracy theories. He loves them. And I like that he's very open about it too. He's not mincing words when he says conspiracy theory. Like, he's not hiding the fact that he's saying that, or trying to say that, or obfuscating, or misleading his audience when he says these things. Like, he's saying it legitimate, verbatim. He's not trying to hide anything when he says that.
SecDef, and that could be anybody Trump wants.
I mean, I thought Pete Hegseth was...
well, also, he's already outlasted Mike Flynn. Let's not forget that. The National Security Advisor who went out on February 14th, 2017. I remember that was a horrible Valentine's
Nobody's
Day.
been fired yet in the administration. None of the higher-ups.
Oh, is
Right?
that true?
Yeah, think of one.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
So that's why he's trying to keep everything together. Because if Pete Hegseth gets fired, other people could be,
Well, yeah,
on the chopping block.
And they spent like $10 million to get him confirmed.
He's solid on everybody on his cabinet. Also, with the Walt story, you could have hypothetically kicked him out
Oh,
for that
Walt.
Signal Gate story. I mean, if you wanted to get rid of that story really quickly, he could have just booted him out, but he chose to stand by him. So I suspect Trump's going to stand by Hegseth throughout all this.
I do think it may largely be fake news, specifically because, as you were mentioning, I think it was you saying this, that the Democrats are just speed running through all these narratives and these individuals trying to latch onto something, and they don't have any strong case against the Trump administration.
Yeah, but the only reason they're speed running through these is because Trump is speed running through so many other things. So they're trying to keep up. It's not like the Democrats are doing this. They're trying to do this maliciously against him. They're doing it because they have to keep up, because they can't keep up. Like, they're already talking about how, like, we need to ignore some of these things because they're going too much. It's just too much. Like, all right.
Oh, come on. Signalgate was a fucking disaster.
It did not resonate with a single person.
Oh, bro, this is where we get into it. The disagreements. All right.
Okay, I know. Okay, I interviewed Laura Loomer for my podcast. Okay, and you
the most
say
you
what-
did?
You might. Yes, I did. I just had her on Thursday, and you may say what you want to say about her, but she's very close to the president. She's a very powerful person.
I don't think we have anything bad to say about Laura Loomer.
Okay, all right.
Well, no, she was saying that she's powerful and close to the president.
She is.
Not
She
something bad
had
about
an
her.
ability to walk in the door and a side door into the Oval Office, and she had the ability to essentially take out 6 very powerful people in the national security apparatus, overruling Mike Waltz. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, when she showed up in Washington, she told me, and this has never been reported, but she had a video of Mike Waltz from 2016 speaking very poorly about Donald Trump, and we'll have it in the podcast. You should check it out on my YouTube channel at Tara Palmieri. But yeah, she came there to kill Waltz.
Laura Loomer is I would consider her the woke right. Like, she is definitely the woke right. Like, she does the whole purity testing that they do on the left. She does it for the right, and she does it for it's really annoying. It's really, like, if you don't believe in certain things, she will just immediately call you like a deep state or rhino, or like, there's no, I don't really like that. I really don't. Like, she is the woke right. She's the purity tester for the right, basically. She's one of those types of people, and not really interested in that type of stuff. So I don't really have a good interpretation, I don't have a good feeling about her. She's like, I don't really care for her, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, she hasn't really done anything too bad, but like, she's reminded me of how the left acts, and I don't like how the left acts like that. And when the right starts doing it, I'm just gonna call it out the same exact way. I don't like it.
Waltz walked in the door just in time because she knows like he's 78 years old, Trump, and she's got to show him the video. And so Waltz walks in the door. So she told me that Trump is not happy with Waltz, and she told me there's a lot of infighting in the administration.
But do you think he'll get fired?
Listen, I don't think she would have gone on.
Bro, she's a gossiper. She's literally a gossiper. The Laura Loomer person, not this lady. But like, yeah, she's a gossiper, and I don't really care for that. Like, why is she saying all this weird nonsense stuff and pretending to think that she's like this really high? I think she has an overinflated ego when it comes to like, oh, look, this really powerful guy. I have his ear. Like, he listens to me. And I'm like, does he really? Does he really?
My show and talked like that if she didn't think he was already on ice.
So this may be ultra incorrect. I don't disagree. I'm just saying that the American people don't care about the inner workings and the minutia. Signalgate.
He is a national security advisor.
And
I gotta point this out real quickly. Remember, Tim literally just said, let's just hear it again. People don't care. People don't care.
Fighting in the administration.
But do you think he'll get fired?
Listen, I don't think she would have gone on my show and talked like that if she didn't think he was already on ice.
So this may be ultra incorrect. I don't disagree. I'm just saying that the American people don't care about the inner workings and the minutia. Signalgate.
He is a national security.
Yeah, see? Yep. This is the first time Tim is saying, people don't really care about this. People don't care about this. And then his immediate response is Signalgate. So obviously he's talking about Signalgate. So like, people don't really care about this, the minutia within the Signalgate stuff. But let's continue.
Advisor.
And I go to Times Square and ask someone about Signalgate. What are they going to tell you?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You know how people are safe in Times Square? The way that people are safe in Times Square, a target, by the way, is because of the national security.
Right.
It's because of that.
But again, if you go to a random tourist from anywhere in Middle America, let's say you're at Times Square and you're looking for American citizens specifically.
Oh, but God, but they probably don't even know the capital of Maine.
Indeed, that's the point. And they vote. So when you go to them and say, "What are you really worried about?" And they're like, "These gangbangers all over the country." And you're like, "Trump supporting them." I like that.
Okay, but would they be worried about going to Times Square if there were terror attacks there all the time?
There
because
were.
We didn't have a national security apparatus.
But there still are, and it's gang members. Like
it's a lot safer than it was when I was
a big Elon. Trent de Aragua guy got arrested for shooting a gun in Times Square at people.
Okay, fine.
So yes, they're going to be like.
I want to tell you what it's like to live in a country where you do not feel like you are safe. You know the national security apparatus does not work. I lived in Brussels.
Ukraine?
No, Brussels. I lived there from 2014 to 2016. I was covering the EU. Okay, and while I lived there, there were so many terror attacks between Paris and Brussels from the terrorists, the homegrown ISIS terrorists that were there. And the bomb went off in the airport. I was there at the airport. The bomb went off in the subway below my office. We were under lockdown for weeks. Sometimes we were told we couldn't leave our house. There was the Charlie Hebdo shooting. There was just random plowing of people in resorts in France, in Nice. It was a terrifying place to be. And the reason that this was happening was because they had no real national security apparatus. They could not protect their country with its open borders where people were able to go in and out through the No.
Do you really agree, Tim? Like, she's literally talking about what the FBI and the CIA does, but I thought FBI and CIA bad, right? Right, Tim? What's going on here? You agree? Interesting. All right. This is where the part where I disagree with Tim heavily comes into play.
Listen, and you know how they were, and you know why you haven't heard of a mass terrorism account, something that happened in Europe recently, like a mass terror attack in Europe. There was one in Germany recently. It's because they got the help of the FBI. It's because they got the help of the CIA. It's because they got the help.
No, wait, but those are bad. We gotta, we can't have this. This is the CIA, FBI bad cast.
Lopez 2. Boas.
Oh, cool. I thought you were a bot for a split second. Cool. Awesome. How are you doing?
Our security apparatus.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I think there are issues with some of the way the first Signalgate stuff happened, but can you walk me down the logic of how Times Square is therefore not safe? You know, Mike Waltz mishandled in a part of a Signal chat, right?
If the person is in charge of security, then our nation's security is at risk.
Security advisor.
He runs like the cyber command.
Bro, who cares? Advisor. Okay. Oh, he's an advisor. He's not the top head. Bro, it's still problematic for someone that's in that level position to be doing this stuff. Like, this is where the part where Tim just gaslights the crap out of her. It's like he just plays word games for this entire time. He's just security advisor. It's an advisor. It doesn't mean anything. Let's downplay it. But bro, it's still a top position.
Runs everything. He runs
Your
all
bigger
these
concern
people.
is probably Kristi Noem, but more importantly, the issue that I brought up
maybe
is
Kash Patel,
the issue that I brought up
FBI.
is specifically,
I don't know.
will Trump earn favor among voters, which will benefit him in the long run?
I don't care about that. I care about being safe. I care about government.
And so you agree with my point then.
Yes, but
regular people in this country do not care about this.
They will care when they are not safe. That is when they care.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. When something bad happens in the USA, they're going to blame Pete Hegseth, the guy that's the head of this entire thing. That is 100% true. Tim, you're getting a little emotional here. Tim's getting a little emotional because he's not rationally listening to this person anymore. Like, okay, he just needs to defend. I don't understand why Tim needs to keep defending this.
Are you kidding? You will absolutely care.
You think that people are going to know what the NSC does?
They may not know what the NSC does, but they may know that they don't feel safe.
Oh, bro. So now this is a manipulation tactic. We're talking about safety. We're not talking about whether they understand the minutiae of what the NSA does. Like, they don't give a shit about that. They give a shit when they don't work. They don't care. It's like saying, oh, I don't like. It's like when someone has a bike, right? They have a bike. They're riding their bike. It's just a normal pedal bike, and then the chain gets loose. And then when the chain gets loose, they end up like losing control of the bike, and then they fall over, and then they hurt themselves, right? And then they get up, and then they start complaining about like they had no complaints about the bike. The bike is fine, but now when they've got hurt, they have no idea how the chain works. They have no idea why it fell apart. They just know that it didn't work, and they're gonna be complaining about how like, oh, the bike, like this is a bad bike. We don't need this bike anymore. Even though they have no idea how the chain works or no idea why it failed in the first place, they're just gonna talk about that. That has like Tim is like bringing up, well, but you don't know that, like, you don't understand how this train works. Like the chain is like, it's not that the bike is bad. It's just that the chain is just. It's not good. Like, why are we focusing on like the bike when we should be focusing on the chain? And I'm like, no one's gonna care about the little bit the chain until the chain. Okay, that's where I was supposed to go. I did it backwards. No one's gonna care about the chain until the chain is the thing that's the problem. The chain became the problem. They don't know how the chain works, but they still know that specifically the chain is the problem. Like, but Tim is saying, "Oh, no one cares," and it's just stupid. Like, Tim, you don't need to say this.
Safe under the Trump administration.
So what?
Let me go back a little bit.
Told you AJW is better than Tim. Winky face.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's problems with everyone. I like Tim. I like AJW. I don't really have a disagreement in who's better. I don't really have an opinion in who's better. They're pretty good on their own stuff. It's just that sometimes Tim says something stupid and I have to call him out on it, or he's being a bit too obtuse, or he's playing word games. And then AGW, he does the same thing. And I have to call both of them out for it.
Yes, but
regular people in this country do not care about this.
They will care when they are not safe. That is when they care. Oh my God, are you kidding? They will absolutely care when they're not safe.
You think that people are going to know what the NSC does?
They may not know what the NSC does, but they may know that they don't feel safe under the Trump administration.
So what do they
that means?
Yes, and that's the thing we should be focusing on. That is a true statement. Just because they don't know how the NSA works doesn't mean that they're gonna not blame the Trump administration. Oh, they're like, it's so dumb. Like, how would you? It's so stupid. Oh, they don't know how the NSA works, so they're not gonna care about what the Trump administration does. Like, what? Where is this logic, Tim?
The buck stops there.
So what do they want?
They want safety.
And how do they get it?
Through a team that works for the president.
Law enforcement.
Exactly. But if you
deportations of Trende Aragua,
it's not only Trende Aragua that are going after people everywhere. We have threats from everywhere. We have threats from Iran.
And who are they going to blame when those don't happen? The Trump administration. So, like, what's your point, Tim?
From Japan, not Japan. We have threats from China. We have threats from Russia. We have threats from everywhere. Everywhere. Every single day.
The point that was brought up was, this story matters little to the American people.
Right now it does. Yes, true. But like when something bad happens.
Surely there is a loophole. Winky face.
Surely. There probably is.
Forgot about this story. I care about the people that work for him.
I don't know what you're arguing.
I'm talking about. I'm telling you that if you don't think it matters who has these jobs,
I said the American people don't care about this story.
Whether they don't care about the story, they should worry about who has the jobs.
Sure, but they don't. So if you want to argue they're factually incorrect in their priorities, true.
You only care about something until it doesn't work, and you know that. You don't care about your car until you can't turn it on.
Well, you care about your car, and you need to use it every day.
Exactly, and you need security every day.
Is that of all of the principal issues polled, immigration is where Trump is winning. This story, they shifted off of immigration.
Actually, here's a better analogy. People don't care about their car turning on until it doesn't turn on. So, like, everyone that goes into their car when they use it every single day, they don't really care whether it's going to turn on or not. Like, no one goes into their car and actively think, oh, it's just not going to turn on today. Like, they just assume it's going to turn on. You get into your car, you never check, you just know it's just going to turn on. But when that day comes when it just doesn't turn on, that's the biggest complaint you have. That's where it comes to the front of your mind. That's when people think about it's not muscle memory anymore, because it just doesn't work. And now when it doesn't work, it's a problem. And now people are thinking about it. No one thinks about it. Like, no one, like, how many times throughout the year when you go in your car and you go to work, no one's thinking about it. Like, that is essentially her point. But, like, Tim kind of did this. I mean, if she would have worded it a little bit better, it would have been better. It would have, if she would have worded a little bit better, it would have been better. Yeah, obviously. True statement, right? But Tim would have had a better response, I guess. Or maybe he would have agreed.
Connecting immigration to the signal gate. I don't see how they're connected.
Let me try and help you out.
That's DHS. Okay, and then that's
So
NSA.
slow down.
So, like,
because if you're confused, I'll need to speak.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay. Regular people care about immigration. Democrats are trying to get off the immigration story because they lost.
That's
so
fair, they lost
so they've
immigration,
shifted
yeah.
into something that doesn't matter at all. Potentially a second signal gate. No one cared about signal gate except politicos.
Nah. People care about this because there was a signal gate. There was, like, if this was the first time this is happening, then I would understand Tim's point. But this is the second time. So, like, people are obviously like, hey, this happened before, and now we have some new allegations of a second one happening. I think people care about that. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a pattern. One was a mistake, a fluke, and now we have a pattern of another allegation coming out. And then Tim's like, oh, there's no evidence. I'm like, oh, if there's no evidence, how do we know that this happened? Like, obviously, there's a little bit of evidence out there. Tim is like, oh, there's no evidence. I'm like, if there's no evidence, how did you know? Like, that's just a stupid thing to say. Come on, Tim.
I can agree with you that
Tim didn't say it yet, but, like, I'm just futurizing because I watched this before.
there are people that exist that do not know who the National Security Advisor is. There are people that, and that is a luxury of being in a country that functions, and that's why I was bringing up Brussels. The luxury of working in a country that truly functions is that you don't have to go to sleep at night worrying about making sure that there is security, making sure that there is not a terror threat where you live, that you know that the subways are constantly being monitored by FBI, that they are constantly, tracking.
Body just got raped in New York City.
Okay.
Tara, can I follow up again, though? At the worst case mishandling of some classified information to now Times Square is not safe.
It reflects a lack of competence.
And regular people don't care about that.
They don't care about competence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's gonna make the point.
Competence until incompetence affects them. Reflects a lack of competence.
And regular people don't care about that.
They don't care about competence until incompetence affects them.
And I don't.
Yes, true. People don't care about whether their car is gonna start until it doesn't start. Like, come on now. It's true. It's a true statement. Oh, people don't care about it until it becomes a problem. Yeah. Yes. True. Obviously. And that is what she's saying. Like, why, Tim? Come on now. Do you understand that, right?
I think the NSA will affect them.
All right. We'll see. I hope
And
not
so
either.
the point
You know what?
that was
I
brought
hope
up-
that you said that. I'm knocking on wood, and I hope that
Agreed.
I hope that we never have to
And
experience.
the only
this
point I was making is that Democrats are attaching to a low-value story because they're desperate for something to go against administration.
Low value story. Here's another minimizing of the story. Like, oh, it's a low value story. What do you mean it's a low value story? Bro, the Signalgate thing, the first one was very high value. A lot of people saw it. A lot of people saw the incompetence. And that's why she's talking about this, because this happened before. But I guess we just got to pretend that the first one didn't happen and then call the second one low value because we don't know too much about the information. I'm like, bro, like, don't minimize it like this. You don't need to minimize it. Like, this is obviously something like this happened a couple weeks ago. And now you're like, oh, this is just another low value story. Like, but you know how the first one went. But now you're just going to discredit the second one because, like, this just looks like he's defending the Trump administration for, like you're minimizing this story. Like, why minimize it? Just say, oh, yeah, you know what? You could be right. Maybe this might be a thing, and then just move on. Like, you don't need to say, like, oh, this is a low story. No one should be talking about this. Like, come on now. Like, you calling it a low value story is suggesting that it probably shouldn't be something people should be paying attention to. Which means if people shouldn't be paying attention to, you have the opinion that actually, yeah, honestly, she should just say, all right, well, I don't really care for your opinion. What do you think something is low value or not? Like, this is a story that should be in, like, people should be talking about because something did happen the first time.
administration on.
I don't think
The
it's low
point
value.
was-
They seemed like a bunch of kids.
Okay, the point I
Ooh,
know.
she did point that out. Let's go. Okay.
They're my age. I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay.
You have no experience. What are you doing here?
So anyway, will Pete Hegseth
So anyway, we're just gonna ignore that. Let's continue.
be fired? My point is probably not, because this story is low value and not nearly as big
If
as people
more
make.
comes out-
How about I finish?
Yeah.
The story is not nearly as big as people think it is. Most people actually don't care. Trump has no reason to fire Hegseth over a few texts that we don't even know if they actually exist. So why are
Yeah, but we're not talking about a few texts. We're talking about the text from before, right? The mistake from before. And now we have a new allegation that's very similar to what happened before. So, we're just going to pretend that the first one didn't happen. Like, come on now. Come on now. There's a pattern. There's a pattern here. It's just allegations, and there is evidence.
Where's Neri?
Because he's going to keep saying there's
Tim
no
has
evidence.
a bit of a strap on.
A strap? What? A strap on? Is that what you meant to say?
all these big outlets running
They
this
didn't
story?
deny it. They actually confirmed it.
So why
Pete
are
Hegseth
all of these
and
big
Trump-
outlets running a story of little interest? We've already had Signal.
Wait. I just want to correct that
Signalgate
because
is
you said
over.
that it didn't. You said that they didn't exist.
Where's
He already
Neri?
I said
confirmed
we
it himself.
don't.
Grumpy.
Oh yeah. Because he's Tim is getting a little emotionally triggered with this, and his logic is not really going through. He's in defensive mode. He feels like he needs to be in defensive mode because the way that she's talking about the whole situation, he doesn't like it. So yeah.
Because this story is low value and not nearly as big as
If
people
more
make.
comes out,
How about I finish?
Yeah.
The story is not nearly as big as people think it is. Most people actually don't care. Trump has no reason to fire Hegseth over a few texts that we don't even know if they actually exist. So why are all these big outlets running
they
this
didn't
story?
deny.
Hey, these texts, if we don't know, like, okay, fine, it's fair. We don't know that they exist, but the point isn't that Trump should fire someone for texts that don't exist. The point is something like this happened before, and those texts did exist, and they also claimed that they didn't exist in the first time. So like, there's a pattern here. The first time it happened, they said it didn't exist. Then it came out that it actually did exist. And now they kind of have to be like, they got egg on their face when they basically lied to the public and said, oh, these texts don't exist, or they weren't, or no, they changed their story. They went on semantics, say, well, technically they're not war plans. And then, but then they were like, actually, no, it is actually kind of war plans. So technically they're not classified. They're not classified. And then it's like, oh, who classifies things? They're like, oh, the guy that said it. And the guy that said it said they're not classified. So therefore, they're just not classified. They might have retroactively unclassified them when they did that. But whatever. Let's just keep going.
They actually confirmed it.
So why
Pete
are
Hegseth
all of these
and
big
Trump-
outlets running a story of little interest? We've already had Signal.
Wait. I just want to correct that
Signalgate
because
is
you said
over.
that it didn't. You said that they didn't exist. He already
I said
confirmed
we
it himself.
don't know if they exist. They came from anonymous sources.
No, Trump acknowledged it himself, and so did the
what did he say?
NSC. He acknowledged it. He said it
Second
shouldn't have
Signalgate?
happened, and the NSC acknowledged
The
it.
second Signalgate.
Oh, the second Signalgate.
See, if you stop talking for 2 seconds, you would have heard what I said.
The second Signalgate, as if the first one wasn't bad enough. We'll see what happens. Listen.
Why was the first one bad?
I would not be a Boy Scout.
Why was the first one bad?
Listen, Tim,
Why
I
was
would
the first one
not
bad?
be a Boy Scout for this administration because you don't know what's coming.
So what? So you're arguing we should lie because we're worried Trump would do something bad?
I'm not saying you should lie.
Lie? What do you mean? Lie? Like, speaking about the allegations isn't lying. What are you saying? Oh, we should just lie. What is she lying about? Right now, she hasn't said anything that's incorrect. Why are you assuming that she's lying? What is she lying about?
Just saying, I don't think you should defend him so hard until you know what's coming.
I think the funny thing is,
Because you might have egg on your face in literally 3 days.
You are so emotionally attached.
True.
No, I'm not. I'm not emotionally
You can't even
attached.
stop talking for a second.
I'm not emotionally attached.
You are.
Listen, you can't stop talking.
So the point I was trying to make is that this story is an old story.
Yeah.
Signalgate happened 2 weeks ago. Why?
They're both the same thing. Why do you call it number 2 if they're not associated with each other? Oh, this first one, ignore that. We don't care. It has nothing to do with the second one.
Where's Neri?
Why are you calling?
I'm with Tim. Cover it up, nothing to see here. Winky face.
Exactly. True. Like, what?
Back on an anonymous claim of Signalgate
Because
2.
now in Signalgate 2, it is alleged that his wife, and I think his
Alleged by anonymous source.
until it's confirmed.
Yes, that's. Oh, bro, Tim. I was about to get a little aggravated. Tim. Alleged. That's evidence, Tim. It's alleged. When someone says something, that is evidence. You may not think it's enough evidence to even talk about that you could say that, but that is evidence to a story. People should talk about the things that are alleged. And then when it comes out that it's not true, then they'll correct themselves. But like, bro, it's better to just pretend that these alleged allegations don't exist, or is it better for a journalist to actually report what happened and then not put a biased spin on it and say, remember, this is alleged, so this could come out as wrong? Like, bro, what's better? Saying nothing or saying something? Like, and Tim is basically arguing, nah, we shouldn't even talk about this. Tim is arguing, essentially, it's better that we don't say anything until more evidence comes out, even though we have allegations, which is legitimately evidence. But like, bro, okay, all right.
So right now, there's no story. Why are they running this front page?
No, there is a story. What do you mean? There is a story. What are you talking about? This is a story. The allegations is a story. Oh, why are we talking about this if there's no story? There is a story. Obviously, they wouldn't be talking about it if there wasn't a story. This is retarded.
It's important and it matters. And I bet you, I know those reporters, and I bet you that it's true.
And then why is Van Hollen now saying, I'm not vouching for this guy? I'm okay if he's deported?
I don't see how those two are connected.
Could it be that immigration being the #1 issue among Americans they're winning on, Democrats and the media are shifting off of a story and they're going backwards?
Yeah, his logic doesn't even make sense. I need to go do something. I'll be right back. Give me like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. I need to fix something, and now it's been fixed, and I'm calm, chilled out now. Let's go back a little bit because this is wild stuff.
Story is an old story.
Yeah.
Signalgate happened 2 weeks ago. Why are they back on an anonymous claim of Signalgate 2?
Because now in Signalgate 2, it is alleged that his wife, and I think his...
Alleged by anonymous source.
Until it's confirmed.
So right now there's no story. Why are they running this front page?
Because it's important and it matters. And I bet you, I know those reporters, and I bet you that it's true.
And then why is Van Hollen now saying, I'm not vouching for this guy? I'm okay if he's deported?
I don't see how those two are connected.
Could it be that immigration being the #1 issue among Americans they're winning on, Democrats and the media are shifting off of a story? And they're going backwards to a previous one?
I am not a partisan. I will not defend the Democrats, okay? If that's what you want me to do.
You are doing it.
No, I'm not. I will not defend the Democrats. I'm actually a reporter. I don't even vote when I cover elections. I didn't vote in this
why
election.
When I said...
All I am telling you is that national security and competence matters. Because the whole idea...
That is true. That's all she's saying. And Tim is saying, well, we shouldn't pay attention to that, though. We shouldn't pay attention to that, though. Actually, they don't care. The American people don't care about this. Yeah, they don't care about the safety and competence. Yeah, they don't care about that. And I'm like, bro, like obviously people care about if something is safe or not. Like, it's just true. But Tim is just pretending that the first signal gate doesn't actually exist, and like why are we talking about the second signal gate? And like obviously it's because of the first signal gate, but like I come on, Tim, this is stupid.
you just keep you keep pulling things from here and then you bring them there and you try to tie them together, but they're not related. All I am saying is, no, I can understand. What you can't understand is what I'm trying to say, which is that competence matters in
I do, but you're off in some other world.
Tim,
let's go back in time. The issue we brought up at the start of the show.
I just don't.
Yeah,
sure, go ahead.
The issue I brought
up. You keep talking about the Democrats and media, but go ahead. Sure.
The issue I brought up at the top of the show was that the immigration story has backfired on Democrats. Echelon, Pew, and CNN all came out with polls showing the American people are happy with Trump's job.
Correct.
Signalgate was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, go ahead.
They've now shifted to an anonymous claim with no evidence of a second Signalgate. The point I brought up was not to defend Signalgate, was not to defend Donald Trump.
So you think they shouldn't report on it?
My point was that with Senator Van Hollen coming out and saying, I'm okay with Abrigo Garcia being deported now, they're backing away from a story, and the corporate press is now shifting the news cycle back onto Signalgate, which was 2 weeks ago.
Fine, maybe they are, but if it's real, they should still report it. They should still report Signalgate too if it is real.
And so they should wait until they have corroborating evidence.
I think that what those reporters have, they probably have corroborating evidence because I know those reporters, they are good.
Probably. Maybe one day they'll share it with us.
And you know what?
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, one day they'll share it with us. Yes, true, Tim. Oh, yeah. It's not like they're trying to like not give away their sources on how they got that evidence in the first place. This person is literally saying that she's on the ground. She's literally a journalist. I didn't even say that word right. But she is a journalist. She does this for a living. And she's saying, like, I know these people. This is what's going on. This is probably their reasoning. But Tim's like, nah, I don't believe you. And I'm like, all right, Tim. So whenever Tim has an anecdotal experience with some people and we're supposed to just trust him, bro, I'm going to be like, nah, Tim, you know that story that you said before? I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah, maybe the guy that you said that had that event happen. Maybe he'll share it with the public soon, right? Like, we can't just believe you just by saying certain things, even though you were a journalist before. Like, obviously, we just can't trust you on that one. But this is just wild to me. This is why, like, you would never. That standard is so stupid. Like, you would never use it against your own self or your own arguments or your own personal experiences. Like, you would just never do that. It's so stupid. And how he's kind of gaslighting her a little bit. Like, it's just this is just wild to me.
Actually,
but otherwise, I'll just believe everything they say no matter what.
I respect those reporters. I know them and I trust them, and I'm sure that they probably do have that. But in the meantime,
why wouldn't they share it now? Their corroborating evidence.
Because it would probably expose their
bro. That guy that we just saw, he's a full-on conspiracy theorist. Like, bro, he doesn't even want. Like, he's on board with the conspiracy theories. Like, he like, the guy that was there before, he believes the world is legitimately flat, or we never went to space. Actually, no, I don't know if he thinks that the world is flat, but I think he legitimately believes that we didn't go to space. Like, those Apollo missions never happened. Dinosaurs, they probably didn't exist. Like, that's what that guy like. Let's see.
Probably do have that, but in the meantime,
why wouldn't they share it now?
Like, this guy, this what legitimately. He's a conspiracy theorist, but like, he's literally on the show, not this show specifically. He has his own show on the Timcast IRL thing where he literally talks about ghost stories. Like, he does talk about this supernatural, unexplained stuff that happened. It's weird. And like, this is his thing. So like, and the type of person that does that type of stuff is going to be a little wonky and have a little bit weird opinions, but like, he does talk about some really weird stuff that really has no explanations, but like, kind of take some of the things he says with a grain of salt.
Their corroborating evidence.
Because it would probably expose their sources.
But if it's that important of a story.
Why are we, here's the question, guys. This whole idea of like, the mainstream media is like trying to draw the narratives one way or another. Fine, whatever. Maybe there are people who want you to look one way or another. But at the end of the day, why would you want to censor a real story?
Who said that?
No one wants to censor the story.
Well, you're the one who's saying that we shouldn't cover.
You guys are literally suggesting that we probably shouldn't talk about this until more evidence comes out. Like, enough evidence has come out for where people are talking about it, and now Tim and everyone else here is like mad that they're talking about it. Like, bro, what are you saying? Oh, no one's saying that we would censor it. Well, you are suggesting that people should censor it. Because you don't want people you're suggesting that people shouldn't be talking about this until more evidence comes out. And I'm like, you're still suggesting that people shouldn't talk about this, and then adding a caveat about like why. So you guys are suggesting this, and now you're saying,
Where's Neri?
oh, no one's saying that.
It's only fair. They canceled the Hunter laptop. 1:1.
That's it. I mean, I can't argue with that, actually, honestly. You know what? Yeah, you make a good point.
Signalgate, like it doesn't matter. You're saying Signalgate 2 doesn't matter. You're like,
Who said
well,
that?
who cares? Because Americans don't care about it.
That's literally never been said once.
You said that most people don't
Oh my God, you were suggesting this the entire time. Tim, shut the fuck up.
care about Signalgate.
Indeed.
And so we shouldn't cover it?
I never said that.
Just because Americans don't care about it, we should.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go back. And I'm gonna shut up because I've been getting a lot of comments saying you cut them off too much. So I'm gonna let Tim say his bullshit, and then I'll try and like remember what his bullshit is, and then deconstruct all of it afterwards.
Why would you want to censor a real story?
Who said that?
No one wants to censor the story.
Well, you're the
I
one who's
think
saying
you-
that we
I
shouldn't
think-
cover Signalgate, like it
Who said
doesn't
that?
matter. You're saying Signalgate 2 doesn't matter. You're like,
Who said
well,
that?
who cares? Because Americans don't care about it.
That's literally never been said once.
You said that most people don't care about Signalgate.
Indeed.
And so we shouldn't cover it?
I never said that.
Just because Americans don't care about it, we shouldn't
said that?
tell people that.
We were covering it.
We're literally on
Gaslighting. Oh my God.
Skycast. Hi.
a big show to millions of people covering the story explicitly.
Hey, hi Skycast.
But you think there's a conspiracy in which the media...
I think the Democrat political party and their consultants are going over their polls and saying, Van Hollen, this is hurting you. You need to back off it. He goes on Fox News of all places and says, I'm okay with Abrego Garcia being deported.
I'm sure they are.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. And
We're in agreement then.
yeah, but the fact that that has anything to do with Signalgate is what I struggle to understand.
So Democrats have started propping up this story.
Okay. Which is
Because-
a real story. It's not a prop up. It's a real story.
With a single anonymous source?
Yeah, I don't think it's a single... I want to read the story actually really quick.
Well, Tim, this just shows that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. It is not a single anonymous person. It is 4 people, 4 anonymous people. So it's not just from one source. It's 4 anonymous sources. And this just came out. So obviously not all the information is going to be out right now. Come on, Tim. Why did you just lie about that? It's just so... All right, Tim.
Quickly so we can actually make this clear on air so that I hope you're not disparaging these people without actually looking at it. Let me find out how many.
They're journalists.
Well, I was trying to talk about it earlier. There were a few advisors to Pete Hegseth who were fired allegedly for leaking. That's what the administration and Secretary Pete Hegseth said of them.
4 people with knowledge of the chat.
That's 4 people, not one anonymous source.
Oh, wow. Tim was the one that corrected himself. Okay. I give some validity back to Tim then. Well, but still, Tim, come on now. You didn't even know. Tim, you didn't even know. You were off by a magnitude of 400%. Okay, so not an order of magnitude, but like 400%. Like you were off base so badly there. Come on now.
Knowledge of it. Mean.
You said it was 1, and now we know it's 4. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, we don't know it's 4 because we don't know who the 4 people are. They're anonymous.
Okay. Well,
No, we do know that it's 4. You just don't like that they're anonymous. Come on, Tim.
listen. If you understand anything about journalism, sometimes you have to use anonymous sources. It's just a fact. Okay, so 4, and you said it was 1 anonymous source. Now it's 4. So let's get the story straight, okay? And it includes his wife. And now I just want to see how the White House responded to this, okay?
It's very easy to make you believe a thing, isn't it?
No, it's not actually.
Oh my God, like that's not an argument. This lady shouldn't even bother responding to that. But it's an issue. It's a general issue with women. Like they have to respond to every single thing. Sometimes you just got to ignore the bullshit that people spit out. Sometimes you got to know when to ignore something and when not to ignore something. That is that is not even
Skycast.
an argument.
This entire administration is not who I wanted to vote for, and I didn't. I'm a Democrat now because how Trump it scared me out of being a sheep.
Ah, cool. You're one of those. I mean, stock market was hurt a lot of people. I understand why people are jumping ship. But you know what? I'm still on the train, and I'm not regretting my vote. But yeah, there's some things to criticize the Trump administration for, but like the people don't like the risk. People don't like the risk, and yeah, I understand that. So it's a little scary, but hey, this is what America voted for, so we gotta deal with this for the next 4 years. And I'm just on the train. I don't think anything terrible is gonna happen, but like, there's some hurting.
Because I know these journalists, and I know that they would only.
And I won't blame people for jumping ship, but yeah, whatever. Let's keep going. Let's go back a little bit.
The story straight, okay? And it includes his wife. And now I just want to see how the White House responded to this, okay?
It's very easy to make you believe a thing, isn't it?
A president shouldn't use Twitter or to social for things that they are thinking.
Yeah, probably shouldn't. But Trump is a completely different person. compared to every other president before. Also, I think Trump is like literally the first president in the modern technological internet world. Like Obama was kind of in it and tried to do some Facebook stuff, but it didn't really work out. And then now Trump is literally the tweeting president, like the social media president. Like Trump is like you can make the argument he probably shouldn't, but like that's just Trump. And he's always been doing this. So like this is not something that's new or different, or people are like, oh, like this is not a new thing that happened. Like people knew this was going on. This is happening in 2016. So anyone that's surprised about that fact is hasn't been paying attention, and that's not on Trump. That's on them.
No, it's not actually, because I know these journalists.
Let me go back a little bit.
Journalism. Sometimes you have to use anonymous sources. It's just a fact. Okay, so you said it was one anonymous source. Now it's 4. So let's get the story straight, okay? And it includes his wife. And now I just want to see how the White House responded to this, okay?
It's very easy to make you believe a thing, isn't it?
No, it's not actually, because I know.
Oh, that's such a gaslighty bullshit tactic to do. Like, oh, it's so easy to make you believe. Shut the fuck up. Like, don't even respond to that. Honestly,
I know these journalists, and I know that they would only go with a story like this.
Has the New York Times published falsehoods before?
And then Tim is like, "Oh, you're being so emotional." I'm like, bro, if you're gonna say such a condescending piece of shit thing to say, and then you're gonna go up to her and be like, "Oh, you're being emotional," I'm like, bro, why the fuck would you say that if you don't want her to be emotional? Like, this is retarded. Like, Tim, this is disgusting. This is a very manipulative bullshit tactic thing to do. It's not like he's not even making arguments at this point.
They may have, and I'm not going to stand
for that. He won Pulitzer's for it. Walter Duranty. There's no famine.
I'm not going to not.
Sarah, I guess.
But wait a second. Can I just say one thing? When the first Signalgate came out, okay, can we just all acknowledge the fact that Hegseth denied that it was real and that it was anything? And he said those chats weren't real, and he just said blatant lies on TV. And then Trump acknowledged it an hour later.
What did he say?
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Well, what did he say exactly? Like, yes, that's true. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do some Grok. We're gonna do some Grok X, and we're gonna go to Grok. Good old Grok. All right. And we're going to ask Grok, did Pete Hegseth deny Pete Hegseth? Did Pete Hegseth deny the first Signalgate? All right. Obviously, I don't know the word of that. Let's go to transcript, because it'll say the word. That hex deny. Even all right. Let me get a new tab. Pete Hegseth. It comes out headset, but it's Hegseth. All right. Yeah, this guy. We need this guy's name. Boom.
XNV. It's Hegseth.
Yes. Deny the first Signalgate? Question mark. I want to know this because, like, Tim is gonna play this stupid word game where, like,
Skycast.
Oh well, technically,
yeah, he did, but then again, he doesn't know how to be nonchalant.
Yeah, like, but Tim is gonna play this stupid word game where he's gonna go into semantics. Well, they didn't technically say that. He said like he was kind of like downplaying the whole fact that everything was going up, but he didn't outright deny it and said those specific words. And I'm like, bro, the whole reason why he said that entire thing in the beginning is to make it seem like that this didn't really exist. But like, Tim is gonna go into the semantics of this, and I want Grok to actually do a nice good old deep search. Actually, let's do a deeper search, which will take like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And why did Pete deny the first Signalgate, and why? Or alluded to it. No. Grok is smart enough to actually give me the information. Boom. All right, do your thing, do your searching, clarifying the question. The request about Pete Hegseth, blah blah blah. Called out the first signal gate. I'm not sure what that means, so let's break it down. I think signal gate might be a reinforcement for the scandal or conspiracy, but it also could be a typo. Whether the signal gate is actually signal gate or related to popular events, it might be. That's funny. Oh, so it's clarifying the question. From searches, Pete Hegseth, you just blah blah blah. Mary Tay, Fox News. So this is going to take a while. We're going to watch the video while that does that.
Let's roll the tape, as they say.
Let's go back a little bit.
Sarah, I guess...
Oh, wait a second. Can I just say one thing? When the first signal gate came out, okay, can we just all acknowledge the fact that Hegseth denied that it was real and that it was anything? And he said those chats weren't real, and he just said blatant lies on TV, and then Trump acknowledged it an hour later.
What did he say?
Hold on. I'll pull it up. Let's roll the tape, as they say. I just don't think you guys should be like defending these guys like this. It's just gonna, you're gonna have on your face.
I think the interesting thing is you conflate stating true thing with defense of Trump.
XNV.
Okay, deny signal. Here
He basically denied that he added Goldberg or that Goldberg was in his phone. Later they claimed it was because someone had sent him Goldberg's number and saved that number under the sender's name.
Yeah, there's yes.
Is stating true thing defending Trump?
Okay, here we are.
No,
I guess
there's a lot of things. I criticize the
I'm pulling up
administration
the
all the time, just not for this.
Suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out.
Hold on.
That's from today, actually.
That's from today. Okay, that was denial. Let's see. Oh, no,
'cause
this
he
was the
says-
one when he was in Hawaii. Yeah, this was a good one.
And he was like, "This is an old story. They're bringing it back up again."
Talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the...
They couldn't even get their denial.
The hoaxes of Russia, 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 or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration.
So yes, Pete Hegseth was downplaying the person that like put out that information in the first place, which is essentially saying, yeah, he's not outright denying it, but then people are gonna be like, well, he technically didn't outright deny it, so therefore he's gonna. And I'm like, bro, get out of here. I don't care about your semantical bullshit arguments. Like, come on, Tim. Like, obviously he was downplaying it, making it seem like it's not as bad as it actually is.
I don't think that's the right.
Sounds like you're misquoting him, Tara.
Listen, you have to wait for the whole thing.
Our ships couldn't sail through.
First, he
And when they
disparages
get you
it.
back, was
I don't think it's the right video.
Wait.
or at
There was no
Sharp's
denial
video.
there.
President Trump said, no.
He was just insulting the guy.
Okay, so then we get to the one where he denies it.
Just so like.
I don't know. I want to find it because he denied it, and then
Yeah,
Trump
but
acknowledged it.
I'm still cool with him just sliming the guy. That's totally fine with me.
Why is it cool just to slime somebody?
Because he
If I-
lied.
if I
Because
was-
The
Because of who he
journalists
is.
lie to
Liar.
us constantly.
You guys, if
he
I,
lied.
okay,
Because Goldberg
I
was the
just wanna
purveyor of
hey,
the
hey,
Russia
Actually,
hoax
can I ask you guys? You guys are like a bunch of badass journalists or media
No,
guys.
not at all.
You're not. Okay.
I am.
You
I'm
care
a
about the
Mennonite.
truth. Okay.
Tara, wait, I'll take that one.
If you were on this chat, would you actually report it?
If what?
If you were on the chat, would you share it?
If
What
were on the
I would
chat.
have contacted.
Like, yo, I'm not
if
supposed
I
to
was
be here.
included in a single chat, I'd say, "Hey guys, discontinue. Wrong person." I actually have the.
Actually, you know what a good question would be? If the Biden administration accidentally put Tim Pool on a signal chat and they accidentally send out plans on that and Tim was on there and he found it, Tim would definitely say something about that. That is true. Tim would definitely be like, "Yep, I'm gonna leak this. This is Biden administration bad. Therefore, let's just post this because look at how incompetent the Biden administration is because he's so old and stuff." Like, bro, you would do that. You would do that. The only reason you wouldn't. The only reason you're gonna be like, well, I mean, the only reason he's gonna make the point that he's gonna make now is because it's the Trump administration and not the Biden administration. And I'm like, bro, this shows that he's he's being a hypocrite here and. I don't like it because Tim, you're smart in this. Come on now, you can't be doing that. Like this is too easy to point this out on you. Like stop it, Tim. Just agree and move on. Like my goodness.
text. I have the phone numbers of many of these people.
Yeah, me too.
And if they texted me, I'd say, "Guys, wrong chat. Boot me out." And they'd say, "Whoops," and there'd be no story.
Oh yeah, but would you do that with the Biden administration? No.
There's no issue.
Actually, no. He might have said that, but then he would still release the information anyways.
War plans against the Houthis in Yemen.
Let me make sure it's the right.
Tara, you better have this quote right if we're running through all
he
these
denied it.
videos.
Nobody was texting war plans. There we go.
Indeed.
Who was that said that though?
No, now it depends on how you define war plans because he
Oh,
was
right,
just
that
talking
was a-
about.
Oh yeah, so now we gotta play a semantical game. Yeah, good one. Oh, whatever you're gonna define what is war plans with? Oh, like bro, come on. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. And then they're like saying, oh, why do you keep accusing us of defending them? And I'm like, bro, why are we talking about the semantic argumentation of what specific words they're talking about? Like, you would never give this pass to the people in the Biden presidency. Like, come on now. It just shows that you're a hypocrite.
Semantics.
The whole thing semantics now.
Right, if we're running through all these videos.
Nobody was texting war plans. There we go.
Indeed.
Who was that said that though?
No, now it depends on how you define war plans because he
Oh,
was just
right. That
talking
was a
about
semantics.
coordinates.
The whole thing semantics now.
It always is.
Well,
What was it? War plans or was it war attack?
Tara, how would you respond to somebody who says,
XNV,
hey, these are
XNV.
just
I
three...
just
Wait,
Tim is the
you
guy that went to a secret Netanyahu meeting, then downplayed it once it was exposed.
Actually, I'm on Tim's side on that one. I feel like the whole, like, this wasn't some secret like, the framing of that is just so stupid. Like, people don't like Netanyahu, so they go like, oh, it's a Netanyahu thing. And then they conspiracize it. And I'm like, bro, like, he went to go talk to the president and Netanyahu was there. And now he's like, now people are making all these conspiracy theories about him. Be like, oh, he's like working for the Jews or whatever. I'm like, bro, this is stupid. Like, I don't like that either. Like, he downplays that, but like, it legitimately needs to be downplayed because there's all these conspiracy theories around Netanyahu and all the Jewish stuff.
So you're like Bilderberg level secrecy is nothing?
It's not nothing, and it's not even a secret anymore. Like, everyone knows this. Everyone knows this, and people can say whatever they want. Tim didn't even say that you couldn't even talk about it. Tim just said specifically you can't quote people and say their name. You could quote them, but you can't say their name, essentially. Because, like, this was just a meeting.
XNV. Because it was exposed by someone else.
Okay, all right. But it's this top secret meeting that no one should know about, but, like, it's been exposed, like, what, a day after it happened. Okay, all right.
XNV. That's the same rules as Bilderberg.
I don't really know too much about the Bilderberg stuff, but, like, sure, okay.
You didn't finish hearing what I said. That these, like Pete Hegseth and others in the administration were saying that these were just a few disgruntled employees. John Uliot, he said he resigned, but, you know, he probably could have been asked for his resignation. These guys are probably pissed because they probably got caught allegedly leaking, which is what Hegseth said. So if these guys were found to be the leakers, it would be worth firing them, correct?
I think if they were leaking classified information, yeah.
Do you believe that these guys were involved? Do you know the story enough to comment on that part? Because these guys were, again, allegedly involved in the leaking of the war plans.
The Iran war plans?
About Iran.
I'm not going to comment on that. I don't know.
Okay, so I feel like, again, like we're leaving some parts of this story in the dark now because is the department in disarray, or is it in disarray because there are leakers and President Trump now is fixing it because there are leakers and this is making it better, not in disarray, if anything, right? Like, I'm trying to flesh this through. There were leakers in the Department of Defense, right? In the Pentagon.
We're assuming these people are leakers.
Allegedly. You saw the reports from the New York Times. The New York Times, somebody in the Department of Defense was leaking. Pete Hegseth said it was them and fired them as a result of it.
Right.
Now they seem to be disgruntled.
Yeah, now they're willing to... No, you're right,
now they're disgruntled, and you got, like, people in the media are opportunistically using this story to try to veer narratives off of, you know, what they think might be dispopular elsewhere. But is this making sense to you as I'm running through this?
No,
like,
it makes sense.
So isn't it a good thing that they got fired, allegedly, if they were leakers? Like, isn't it not disarray? It's repairing.
The only thing I think is good about it is that they now feel like they can talk about what they saw. I do think that if you were... I'm still in shock that if you guys were on this chat, you wouldn't have shared it.
Why would...
I didn't respond yet.
You have sources that you would expose? You would expose private sources, private information?
No, he's not. Good one, Tim. Good one for changing that. Oh, twisting that word. Oh, twisting what she was saying. Bro, let's listen to that one more time. Tim, my God. That is so bad faith.
It makes sense.
So isn't it a good thing that they got fired, allegedly, if they were leakers? Like, isn't it not disarray? It's repairing.
The only thing I think is good about it is that they now feel like they can talk about what they saw. I do think that if you were... I'm still in shock that if you guys were on this chat, you wouldn't have shared it.
Why would...
I didn't respond yet.
You have sources that you would expose?
Wow. Whoa. Sources. Who said sources, Tim? She didn't say... She's not talking about sources. She's literally talking about the chat. She doesn't need to say who said this. She could just say the government saying this. She's not exposing any sources. Why is that your assumption? The word source didn't even come from her mouth, but we're just supposed to assume that. Like, Tim, what are you talking about? And again, Tim would, if this was the Biden administration and the same exact Slack thing happened, but Tim was on the call by accidentally, he would do the exact same like he would do it in a heartbeat. First he'd be like, all right, let me figure out if we have any evidence. Okay, so maybe Tim wouldn't like leak it to the press, but he would talk about something like these are just allegations and like actually like talk about it a little bit. And this is wild. This is so wild that it's just so weird.
You would expose private sources, private information?
That wasn't a source relationship thing. That was a I am watching classified information. That is like almost like walking in on someone.
Oh, she actually figures it out instantaneously. The little manipulation trick. I like this woman. She doesn't get tricked so easily with the stupid little twisting of the words that Tim does sometimes that I find incredibly annoying sometimes. But like, list it out again. She actually figured it out.
Were on this chat, you wouldn't have shared it.
Why would
I don't?
Wait,
I didn't,
for real?
I didn't respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have sources that you would expose? You would expose private sources, private information?
That wasn't a source relationship thing. That was a
Yes. Oh yes. It wasn't a source relationship thing. She figured it. Okay. All right. I don't even need to say anything. I don't even have to say anything. She just knows. She's very intelligent. Holy crap.
That was a I am watching classified information. That is like almost like walking in on someone doing a crime.
Let me ask you
If
a
you walked on
question.
someone,
Can I ask you a question?
if you walked in on someone committing a crime, how would you not cover that?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do you have the phone numbers of government officials?
I have sources.
Oh, now we got to pivot off of that. But I actually, I'm sorry guys, but some change of plans. I gotta go. I gotta cut this stream short, even though we're only 52. We're only halfway through it.
Skycast. I'm not sore about this. I'm sore about 2016.
Okay. Elaborate more before I get off. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you sore about specifically? Oh, Trump winning in 2016? Is that what you meant? But yeah, I'm going to be disappearing very soon. Very soon. Oh, wait. Hold up. We still got the Grok thing that came out.
Partly because my tax refunds during COVID or during Trump's administration there weren't tax refunds.
Oh, really? I got tax refunds. Even though I thought I wasn't going to get a tax refund. During the COVID stuff in 2020, and Trump was still in office, yeah. But everyone just remembers the Trump bucks, and the unemployment was like crazy during that time. All happened underneath Trump, and then Biden kind of inherited some of that stuff, and there was still...
Skycast. Every other one was a tax defund.
Oh, well, I don't know your specific situation. All I know is that I got a lot of money back somehow. Because, oh, you know what? It's because I paid more in taxes than I should have. I always do that. I always add like an extra... I don't know where you're from or what state you're in, but like the specific place I was in, I'm able to add more into... I can just give them a straight like 1 or 2% more than what they're asking for the like W-2 and stuff like that. All right, so the question was, did Pete Hegseth deny the first signal gate? Key points. Okay, let's just do the key points and then we'll have to go because a situation has popped up that I cannot ignore. So
it seems likely that
nope, we're not doing that. Input text manually and then we'll play it.
It seems likely that Pete Hegseth denied sharing sensitive information in the first Signal chat leak, stating nobody was texting war plans. The incident, known as the First Signal Gate, involved a leaked chat discussing military operations, which Hegseth downplayed. There is controversy, as experts and officials suggest the shared details were classified, contradicting Hegseth's claims.
Yes, see? The first Signal Gate, yep, it was declassified. And this is why I love Grok. That one simple question clarifies the question, and then it goes to evaluating Hegseth's denial, and then assessing involvement, and then complete. Like, I like the way that it shows you everything that it's doing. Like, the reasoning, it's so cool. Grok is amazing. But, yeah, I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Do what's on screen. And, yeah. I'll be back tomorrow. Or maybe later today, depending on what happens. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. And, this takes a couple seconds. Probably should have hit this button before then. But, whatever. Thanks for watching.